Hello everyone again, welcome back to part 2 of the Twin Humanities, the Humanities Game of the Year show.
That's a lot of humanities for humanities.
There's going to be more humanities as we go. We decided to split this into two halves, as our first half came to a nice little ending. We wanted to give you, something manageable to listen to. So we're this time going to cover our top 7 games, the lucky 7.
Don't make it sound like it was like, oh, we thought we were doing it for you, when really kind of I fancied going out to.
You just wanted to go for a coffee, didn't you?
I wanted to go out to a coffee shop and escape 4 walls on my day off, and kind of I didn't want us to run out of momentum a little bit, I guess, and come back to it with enthusiasm, because we've I don't know if you've noticed, but we've tried a few things. We've invested in the show a touch, so hopefully this sounds a little more sparkle based than usual. But I wanted to look forward to the lucky 7 as we've got.
The lucky 7.
So speaking of dem looks, have you got 7 games, your top 7 of the year, Mr. Patrick Stardust?
I do, and I'm looking at them. Shall I begin?
No.
What?
I have my top 7 games of the year, and I am looking at them. But who goes first?
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
If only there was some way of choosing.
Hold on.
Holding on.
What shall I do about this?
Speak into the cardboard box. I mean, flip a coin.
Thanks, God.
Cheers, God. Wow, God, he's helpful, isn't he?
Alright, I'm going to flip a coin. Heads or tails?
Heads.
It's tails.
Sounded brilliant.
Yeah.
Thing is, you could be lying about that.
No, I'm genuinely not.
I can't see that. You could do anything. You might not even have flipped a coin. You might have just pushed over a kettle.
There are many things in life I might be surreptitious about, but one of them isn't who goes first when we're talking about our favourite games of the year.
Very good. Then I believe you have the con.
Yes. So, at number 7.
7.
Hold on. I should really get the box again, shouldn't I?
Get the...
7.
That was good. That was good. Seamless.
Thanks.
No one will ever notice. Great.
No. Right. At number 7, a game I mocked as arse when it appeared on your most look forward to games of 2014 list.
Okay.
You're none the wiser, are you?
I have no idea. We've not seen each other's lists yet. I have no idea what's on this list.
We haven't. So at number 7, in a year which I will call the year the internet told me my favourite games were shite, at number 7 is infamous Second Son.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Which was, if you were paying attention, the game that I didn't play enough of last year.
Yeah, and we had a wee bit of a chat about it earlier, but this one sort of snuck up on me a little bit. The first instance was Ryan Harmon did a video on Kane and Rince's YouTube, and Ryan is a native of Seattle, and he did a video comparing infamous Second Son's Seattle to the real place, and basically saying the elements that they stripped away, the places that they've moved around to make the game world more varied, and talked about things like how, because Starbucks originates from Seattle, and how that's replaced by the latte owl, and just basically pointing out different things in Seattle. It's like half an hour long, this video, and I've watched it about 3 times. I really liked it, and it was one that I delved into one Sunday when I was eating my dinner, and this was before I picked up a PS4, and I got a flavour for the city, and I probably came to it with a degree of investment that many other folks might not have done, and by that I mean,
maybe a different degree of investment.
Well, what I mean is that I grew up listening to a lot of music from Seattle. In particular, like bands like Mother Love Bone and Temple of the Dog were really, really important to me, and Seattle was to me as fictional a city as like Gotham. it was a place where magic was created, where one of my favourite ever musicians sort of lived and loved and died, and how his music lived on from there. And by that I mean Andrew Wood from Mother Love Bone, who's stupendous talent, and I became more and more captivated by the thought of wandering around these streets, and that it was a place that was important to me for different reasons, and really liked Ryan's video, and just got it into my head that when I got a PS4 and I picked the game up for about 20 quid, which is neither here nor there really, that I'd wander around those streets and I'd put on all the music that mattered from back then, and really sort of crank it up. And I'd put on like a load of Soundgarden albums, and I dug out I fell in love with sort of the first 2 Pearl Jam albums again. Mother Love Bone went on, Temple of the Dog went on, and I was just Nirvana went on as well, and I just it became almost a celebration of my youth and music that mattered as much as the game. I'm finally walking around in a place that I've never ever been to, and whilst many people sort of pointed to the game as repetitive, or people hated it and thought it was boring, I know you sung the praises of the first 2 games, whereas I didn't play the second. I didn't really get on with the first that much. I just found I was having fun. And I'm a big sort of comic nerd from back in the day as well, and I really enjoyed the powers, and the story got its hooks in me, which is something that isn't really spoken about online. I enjoyed I know Infamous First Light's just gone on PlayStation Plus today,
literally about 3 hours ago,
but I really liked Fetch, and I thought she was a character that I cared about, and I just found that I was having fun. I was cranking out like music that was incredibly important to me. I was exploring this place. It looked fantastic. When I got the brand new powers, it was a complete sort of rug pull from what I'd gotten used to. As the game went on, I started swapping them in and out. I had a lot of fun. It was fantastic escapism. I mentioned previously that there was a point sort of last year when I kind of had I had emergency surgery on my back, sort of shoulder area, and it was in somewhat of a stupor of pain and horse tranquilizers. And this isn't taking anything away from the game whatsoever, but I found such wonderful escapism and smiles and heartbreak, and like I say, my heart was all over the music and wandering in this place, that as much as people can turn their nose up and go Infamous or Second Son, what a load of wank, well, it looks alright, but it's like one of those early PlayStation games that you probably wouldn't have done as well afterwards. All I can say is I was thoroughly entertained by it, up until the point of the final boss, which was terrible, but I loved it. I really loved it, and I honestly can't say more than that. It was a celebration of music that I loved, a place that I'd never been to that was important to me, superhero mechanics over the top, some fun storytelling and characters that I ended up caring about. So
cool. I mean, I for one, I know I haven't finished it, but I did enjoy zipping around the city as a big purple flash. That's always going to be fun for me. And I have to ask you the question now. I'm pretty sure I know the answers to this. Do you play good guy or bad guy?
I could only play a good guy. I was speaking to a friend of mine, Luke, who has platinumed it, who's done both versions, and I got so moored with the journey of Delsin as a good guy. As daft as it may sound, I couldn't sully that with another version of Delsin, and as you know, it may be easy for some folks to kind of switch off and go, right, I can be the bad guy, I can do this, I can do this. It wasn't the journey that I'd taken. I cared about this. Maybe that relates to the investment that I came on board with anyway. But I care about this people. I care about this city. And when it got close to the end, and there were the sort of there's the voice going over the city, basically saying to turn their back on me, that I was a criminal, all this sort of stuff. And I'd land on the ground, and soldiers would try and rush at me, and the people would overpower the soldiers. That was a fucking Spider-Man moment. I got a lump in my throat at that, and it was like, to get to that point in the game, and suddenly for my heart swell a little bit, and for me to kind of, it was almost this push of like, I'm going to put you down. And to get to that degree in the game where you're just like, the people are with me. I fought for this city. I fought alongside this city. This city means a lot to me. I'm going to put you down. That's awesome. You can't ask for a game to give you any more impetus than that.
Yeah.
And like I say, I genuinely cared and was entertained, and I feel like I'm almost apologising for it, but for that 20 quid, entertained the heck out of me.
Yeah.
And I can only thank Ryan Harmon for his hard work on that video, because it's really eloquent, and it's look it up on Kane and Rince's YouTube channel. Kane and Rince is amazing anyway, but it's a really good watch, and you'll probably pick it up for a pittance if you fancy it, or if you've got PlayStation Plus, you can probably try First Light.
Yeah, which is today, or yesterday, depending on when you're listening to this. I don't know when this is going to go up. Are you interested to see how that particular scene plays out if you're playing it as the super twat like I do?
Yeah,
Do you think like criminals will come out to defend me? Because that's kind of sweet as well in its own way.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard
rally behind me, goons.
When I was talking to Luke, I know there are different powers that kick in and stuff like that, and it sounds like a very different game. But I was invested, and honestly, the again, it sounds a little bit mental, but the thought of doing that turned my stomach a little bit. And that again is a wonderful compliment to the game, that I gave that much of a crap.
It's like my experience when I played Red Dead Redemption. I couldn't not play it as a good guy, because playing it as a bad guy it felt wrong. I mean, Infamous is different for me, because I've got the history of always playing the dickhead, so that's kind of what I fall back on.
And you're not keen on Delsin anyway, are you?
No, he seems like a bit of a dickhead, so it seems like a natural fit.
Yeah, but I can see that he's a young kid on the wrong side of the tracks, if you will.
Yeah.
And there's the relationship between him and his brother genuinely goes somewhere cool, and I fucking hell, I'm choking up a little bit, but I genuinely gave a shit.
Yeah.
And again, you can't ask for more than that. I think of Fetcher's story and the instance where her powers developed, and I was moved, and some of the interactions between her and Delsin are great. And the first of many games this year that I'd say to anybody, if you see a game and you fancy it, fuck what the internet says. If you just pick it up, let it reach a price point that you want to invest in it, and give it a go, because you might be coming to the table with something that tips you over the edge compared to folks that maybe get it landing in their lap for free.
Very true. Very true. Cool. Good pick.
Thank you, man.
Okay. My number 7. I don't have a box to shout into.
I can do it.
No. Let me try it in my cardboard castle. Let me see how that sounds. Okay.
It sounds like that's a euphemism for
I've
I've
legitimately got a castle made of cardboard sitting next to my desk here. It's for our
this.
chinchillas. It's about a metre tall, and they can jump and climb in it. It's pretty amusing. Let's just try this. Hang on. Number 7.
Yeah, it's alright though.
Yeah, cool. I stuck my head in a turret. My number 7 this year is Rogue Legacy.
Interesting, because this has dropped to some insane prices recently, like £3.95, and I've tried to talk myself into it, and have for some reason forgotten about it a little bit.
Okay, let me talk you into it. And I realise I forgot to do an elaborate intro to that, but screw it, I don't care.
I didn't realise I was doing elaborate intros.
You did a good intro like last year, and I forgot to do one this time. I'll do one. I'll do it next time. Honest. Okay, Rogue Legacy. I think I picked this up when it came out. I think brand new. I played a bit of this on the PC. I played a demo, I think it was, or they released some sort of version that was kind of a small part of it. Played the ever-loving shit out of that demo, loved it to pieces, and I thought, well, I'm definitely going to get this game, but I want to wait until it's out on a machine that has a controller I like, because I don't really like playing games like that on the PC. I need a proper controller, and it's just me, but I don't like using the Xbox controller for stuff like that. I find the D-pad movement a little bit imprecise, so I thought I'll wait until it comes out on something I like, and then it did. Cross-platform on bloody everything, it seems like. Cross-save as well, so I can play a bit on my PS4 and transfer the save onto my Vita and then carry on at work, which is... It's like the future. It's mad that I can just take my game, play a bit at work, and then carry on when I get home. Brilliant. It's brilliant. Rogue Legacy, for those who are unaware, is a procedural-generated roguelike, hence Rogue. You play a knight, and you are trying to go into a castle to uncover some sort of secrets or something. I don't really pay that much attention to the story, if I'm honest. You go through, you stab some stuff, and you eventually will die. It's just natural, you're going to die. When you die, you're then given a choice of one of 3 children. And you can choose one of the 3 options as the next character. And this is basically how you pick your next guy. So it could be, you could pick a wizard or a barbarian, or there's more that unlock. There's like an assassin you can unlock later. And they've each got their own sort of special abilities as well. Like the barbarian, when you upgrade it, can have like a shout that knocks enemies back, like a certain Skyrim game does. The ninja can turn invisible. I know that one. There's a few ones that you can do. But each hero has their own traits. Like some of them are fat, some of them are thin, some are heavy, some swear whenever you hit them.
Colourblind. Moving across the ceiling, and there's ton of them, isn't there?
There's billions. The nostalgic one's quite nice. It gives the whole game a sepia tint, which is quite nice, but it makes it quite hard to see bad stuff hitting you. So there's a bit of strategy that goes into picking what dude you're going to pick, and you can level up using the gold that you found with your last guy that died. You can use that money to level up with, and then it's gone when you go in the next time. So kind of money carries over, so it's worth getting money, but you can't kind of stockpile it the way you would in other games.
I'm listening, I'm just going to put the fire on. You
put the fire on. It's good to be warm. But yeah, it's a really strong, like mechanically quite a strong game. It can be quite tricky to get into. The controls they're tight, but your character moves a bit slower and the attack arc is a bit different than you think it is at the start. And it does take a bit of time to get into the way that the game works and the way the game feels. And I mean, once you've finally got the hang of it, you start learning how to deal with bosses, and because every dungeon you go to is generated randomly, you're seeing a different set of rooms, set of enemies every time, and it does keep the game nice and fresh as well. So when you do eventually get through to a boss and you do best it, you do feel like, yeah, I did that because I got better at the game, not because I memorised the route to the boss and avoided all the awkward stuff. I'm getting better at the game, and that's what keeps me coming back to it, and that's what keeps me coming back to Spelunky as well, for the same reason, that when I do better, it's because I feel like I'm getting better, rather than just remembering that, oh, there's a bad guy over there, and that one's there, and there's a trap there, and I can jump under that, and then I'm clear. You feel like you're getting better because you're getting better, and it does give you it gives you a real sense of accomplishment when you beat it as well, and then you jump straight into New Game Plus, and it's a motherfucker. It is a motherfucker. But yeah, Rogue Legacy, it's a proper fun little game, and the fact that you can, top your save back and forward in your Vita, a run can last 5 minutes, a run can last half an hour. It depends on how invested you are, or how what sort of upgrade you've got and what character you've got, and how you're getting on. It's a real fun little game to take out and play, and it's one that I couldn't stop playing for a while. Constant rotation for at least 2 months when it came out.
I was going to say, when it came out on the PC, there were lots of folks like Matt Lees was really into it. I noticed a lot of folks who love the old sort of Metroidvanias, like Andy Hamilton, were absolutely smitten with it. And there was a while where it's like, oh, it's coming to PS4 and it's coming to Vita, and I was looking forward to it then because it just looked like my kind of bag. But I will endeavour to pick it up the next time it's on sale, and it does seem to yo-yo.
Oh god, it's definitely. I mean, I think it goes for about $5.
Yeah, I've seen it for $4, and I didn't pick it up.
Less than that with Plus, yeah, it's worth that, definitely.
I just didn't pick it up because it was one of those where it's like, oh yeah, I'll pick up some PlayStation credit, and I think that was the point where I was going to get SteamWorld Dig as well, which was on sale at the same time, and didn't, and that kind of served me well. So I'm wondering if Rogue Legacy may well just turn up on Plus kind of soon.
Well, but for £4, I mean, £4.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
true.
no-brainer.
I wouldn't have begrudged SteamWorld Dig £3, to be honest. I think
No, and if this does turn up on Plus eventually, I won't feel like I've been cheated because I popped it on a bit between our last show and this one actually to give it another quick run, and it's still fun. I mean, I'm a bit out of practice, so it kicked my ass, but it's still fun. I got to a boss and got absolutely trounced by it, but it's still good, still fun. Rogue Legacy, my number 7. Get it? Cool. So I passed the baton of champions back to you.
Number 6.
Another game I kind of mocked before it came out.
There's going to be a theme here, isn't there?
Continuing the theme, yeah. Initially, it had connections to a series of games that aren't my cup of char.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd seen a few bits that left me curious, but I know there was a huge degree of everyone was skeptical about this one up until about a month or so before release. I remember Rich Stanton sort of had got his hands on the beta and just went, "It's amazing," and folks went, "Wait, what?" And then the beta hit across the PC, and folks went bonkers and went, "Oh my god, this is really good." And I also mocked it because it was coming out on exactly the same day as the game that I was looking forward to from 2014. And hence, my number 6 is Titanfall.
I had a feeling that was going there.
Yeah,
I was trying to think, what else came out on Dark Souls 2 Day? Because that was a busy week, wasn't it?
It was the game that I picked up. It was the first game I got on the Xbox One.
Okay,
and
cool.
that was my bundle game. And as an anime fan and a mech nerd, I just quite fancy getting into the mechs. And I'm not a fan of Call of Duty. It's a bit realistic for me, and I don't really dig the real world settings. It's just my preference. It's not my sort of thing. So I wasn't sure quite how I'd fit into the mechanics, or if it played any differently, because I'm not a huge multiplayer guy.
No,
not in Destiny. I've never been in Halo. I'm shite at that. To put it, I'm just not very good at that sort of thing. But I put Titanfall on, and it looked beautiful. It was just really clean and streamlined. It reminded me a lot of sort of the simplicity of 70s science fiction cinema, where it was just, polished rooms with sort of Sid Mead type markers of a different colour on there. And I went through the tutorial a number of times because I was like, not because I was crap at like getting my head around it, just because I enjoyed the tutorial so much. And being taught how to run on walls, and how to use guns, and how to use the multiple shot cannons, and then getting into the mechs, and the difference between soldiers and mech. I played the tutorial loads of times because I just thought it was fun, and I showed people the tutorial tons of times, and they've been like, "Oh my god!" Like my friend Pete that comes around to watch anime with me is doesn't play games, but he always takes an interest in this sort of stuff because he likes cinema and he likes design. And he's a bit of a mech nerd like I am, and he was like, "Oh, this is really cool." But I started playing it, and it was incredibly fast paced anyway. I was holding my own with it, which was really kind of cool. I was like, "Oh, this is smart." And my triple shotgun was great. I was being really stealthy. I didn't really get my head around the running on walls mechanic for a good while, but I was having fun, and I was looking forward to the point where the fucking robot dropped for me, and the whole 30 seconds to Titanfall, and I was like, meh! It's like Santa Claus in robot form.
What's in Santa's sack? A giant fuck off robot.
I just had amazing fun in the robot of swiping other robots and taking down other soldiers, and it got to the point where and I don't know if I've ever experienced this in games before, where I could play a round of Titanfall, one round of Titanfall, and I'd have to pull out of the matchmaking and just sit there and breathe. My heart was just going like 8,000 miles an hour. And I had to sit and kind of rationalise that for a minute. I just couldn't go, oh yeah, that was a good game, I'll just jump into the next one. At certain times, just go, right.
It's an intense game, isn't it? I mean, I've played it twice now around our friend Sean's house. And both times it's like, oh shit at it, but it was bewilderingly entertaining.
It's designed within an inch of its life. And I've seen some of the footage of Chet Roivas from Chet and John playing it, with him running on walls and taking folks out, and there is nuance to that. It isn't just running into different rooms and shooting folks. There's a real skill to doing it well, and I can imagine if you super invest in it. Like I haven't gotten near any really understanding the burnout cards or maximising those massively. I got the DLC because they released the DLC for an absolute pittance at a certain point, about £3 odd.
It's pretty mad.
£6 odd. And I haven't gone near the DLC stuff for a while. I mean, the sad part is that I don't really know a lot of people that are playing it, or a lot of folks that have got Xbox Ones. And that's an echo that I've found on a lot of Xbox One stuff versus PS4. It's got almost the Xbox 360 thing of all my mates are playing on PS4.
Yeah.
Just generally. But it's a great game. It's a really great game. Possibly a game that I could dedicate more time to, because I would love to get good at it, and it's fun to get a multiplayer experience, an arena type experience like that captivates me, because I didn't think that would be possible. But it's so well designed and so well done, and also it worked out the fucking box. It was there.
In a year of shit that didn't work.
Well, in all credit to is Remedy. I think so, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. When they were doing
Respawn, is it Respawn?
Respawn, that was it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Respawn, you're right.
Yeah.
When focusing on the first game, they took the aspect of the titles they're well known for and just concentrated on that. And I'd imagine, because there's a world that's there that's touched upon in the intro sequence, and we see a little bit of kind of dinosaurs and things in the background, and that they've not gone near. And I wonder if Titanfall 2 will have a sort of much more robust single player campaign, because all they really need to do is just the same again for the multiplayer, because it ain't broke. And I'm wondering if that's the point where, because I think they've said that the next one's not going to be an exclusive.
No, I heard that as well. I heard they're going to try and punch it onto the PS4.
Yeah, it deserves to be on there. So yeah, that's my number 6, yo.
Good choice, yo. Okay.
Thank you,
okay, time for my number 6. Number 6. I've got a turret up my nose.
You've got what?
A turret. I'm shouting into a cardboard castle. There are crenellations and battlements on it. And
things you do for this show.
Honestly, the dedication. Okay, my number 6 is actually a game that I've played entirely on my phone. And there wasn't... When I was putting this together, my top 5...
I know what this is.
We initially had a top 5. And I really wanted to put this on there, but I couldn't justify it over the other 5 I had. And then... 2 hours before we recorded, we thought, no, let's make it a top 7. So I found a place without thinking of it. Without even thinking, I thought I've got a place for it now.
You mean me telling you that it's a top 7, and you going, I've only got 5. Hold on, give me 2 minutes.
I still had the list. Yeah, I still had the list of it. That one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, my number 6 is a game I played entirely on my phone. It's a game that took me completely by surprise. I never thought I'd include a fucking phone game on my game of the year list. But nevertheless, my number 6 this year is Desert Golfing.
Go for it, man.
Right, Desert Golfing. To those who have not played Desert Golfing, it is a revelation in the mobile space. It is a really shit golfing game. That's selling it short. It's not shit at all, but it looks shit. I will give you that. So when you play a normal golf game, you hit your ball, it rolls on the ground, and sometimes it goes in the sand, and you're like, oh no, the sand, and it acts all rubbish in the sand.
Oh no, the sand.
Oh no, the sand. This game is just sand. All it is. So you think, it's going to get bogged down, but you think, actually, no, I can use that. So you can look at how the world slopes. It's all just literally vectors and polygons are the landscape. It's 2D, side on. It's literally very square, angular, landscapes you're trying to shoot your ball onto. But you know how the ball will react. And it's a very, very satisfying sort of thunk noise when you hit the ball. It's very, very, very satisfying. And getting the ball in the hole, you're like, yeah, get in. But this is where it becomes amazing. Because it doesn't then suddenly ding you with a little notification that goes, hey, you got a hole. Or, good job. Or, 50 holes. Now go to the DLC store. There is none of that bullshit. There are no adverts. There are no fucking share this with your friends crap. All that you get is the number on the flag goes up by 1, goes to the next hole, so you get in hole number 1, the screen moves along, you see hole number 2, and at the top it tells you how many shots you've taken so far. With this alone, I am approaching hole 3000. And
so where's the momentum to keep going? Is it just that
I want to see the number get bigger?
Because I've heard there was something I heard where folks were keeping going just to see an ending or see what's changed, or somebody.
No. I will tell you exactly.
Somebody realised that the sky was slowly changing colour, and wasn't it the creator who just said, "Look, just stop."
Okay, to give you an idea of the sky, mine went from orange, slowly towards a pinkish colour. It has then gone through pink, through red, through blue, and now it's kind of a weird sort of yellowy green. It's gone a long way, and I'm not sure if it's tied to how many shots you've taken or to how long the game's been installed on your phone. Because I loaded it up the other day and it looked different, and I can't put my finger on why.
So where's the push on this? Where's the is there an addiction in?
I'll tell you where the push is.
In the gameplay, or where's the momentum?
I'll tell you where it is. Okay, so you're flicking away, and it's a very satisfying game to play. You get the ball in the hole, you're like, yeah, nailing a hole in one feels good. Always feels good, no matter what. If you take 20 shots to get a hole, or you only take one, it's a nice feeling to shoot the ball in the hole. That act on its own is fun. But around hole 200, 220 maybe, okay, I saw a cactus.
You're not really selling this momentum.
No. I saw a cactus. There is literally, it's featureless apart from the floor and the sky. And the hole, obviously. But there has been nothing. And then I saw this cactus, and I literally stopped, looked at my phone, and went, fuck. Where did that come from? Oh, God. And I kind of put the phone down and looked at it for a bit, because I didn't want to hit the ball in the hole and then move on and not be able to see it again.
This is like the worst episode of the X-Files ever.
So I went past it. I tried hitting the ball at the cactus. Nothing happened. It was just background colour. And then once I'd got the ball in the hole, it moved on, and I didn't see it again. I'll tell you what I did see. 200 holes later, there was a rock. But the rock had physics. I hit the ball at the rock, and the rock moved. I got the rock in the hole via about 30 shots of just teasing it along the floor. I got the rock in the hole. I got nothing extra for that.
I must admit, I'm still grasping.
Try this.
What's driving you? No pun intended.
Try this. Around hole 700, I saw a cloud.
Okay.
Again, didn't interact with any way. But here's the real bit that made me stop and go, what? Around probably about hole 1400, 1500, all of a sudden there was a bottomless pit in the middle of one of the courses, and it had never done that before. It's always been a flat thing to go at. There was no possible hole of doom, and it did one, and then it didn't do another one for like 200 holes.
So am I getting this right, that with it being a desert, the ball doesn't bounce? Or
it does bounce, but it bounces in a kind of soft, fluffy way.
So if you're doing normal golf stuff, and trying to get towards the hole.
Get the ball in the hole. Yep.
You've never really been a golf guy before.
On everybody's golf, yes, but that's about it.
I mean, I back in the day, I was a fan of Leaderboard on the Commodore, and that golf game on Wii Sports Resort was just stunning. But why did you pick this up? And I'm still kind of grasping at how long do you play this for? It's like you play
one session.
Do you play it for like a couple of minutes on lunch, or do you play it all of lunch, or how?
Generally, it'll be.
What's the length of time that you've played this consecutively?
The longest time I've played it in a row.
Yeah.
Probably an hour and a half.
Okay, that's still substantial.
Sat on the sofa with something on the telly, just sitting there, just half-assed watching the telly and just hitting a ball in a hole, and it's just a nice, satisfying way to, sort of, you want to put something on, you want to feel a bit of accomplishment, you want to play something, but you don't have much time. You just pop it on. It's ready to go straight away. There's no press this button to start. It's just there. You turn it on, and it's at the next hole where you were. Remembers how many shots you've got. There's a really nice weird meta game by looking at what number of hole you're on and how many shots you've taken and working out what your average is. I'm still just underneath 3 shots per hole, and that's good for me. I feel like I've achieved there.
Because this has had a few Game of the Year awards, hasn't it?
It's mad. Yeah, I think it's got that Minecraft thing where I think you have to play it to get it.
Yeah, okay.
It's very hard to explain without it sounding shit. Like, I saw a cactus without sounding like a fucking psychopath.
Yeah, I can. It needs that degree of zen.
Yeah,
natural.
But I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about it and thought, oh, it looks fun. And then I sort of heard someone say, well, there's no ads, there's no leaderboards. I thought, oh, okay, a mobile game that isn't evil. Mm-hmm. Ooh. And it, pretty much single-handedly restored my faith in mobile gaming.
Is it completely free?
It's like £1.
Oh, I was going to say, I was wondering how I was making money from it, but
it is fuck all. It is like £1, and you will get at least 3,000 holes out of it before it stops, because I'm at hole 2929, I think, last time I checked.
So was there a free demo beforehand?
No. Just
So
it doesn't need one. Just look at a screenshot. That's the game.
I'm just stunned.
Ball goes
that
in hole. Yeah.
Flicked a quid. A golfing game.
Yeah, just a few people on Twitter were like, "Oh, it's really good. It's quite addictive." And I saw someone that was up in the 1,000 holes mark, and I thought, "How are you at 1,000 holes? There's no way. I won't fall for that."
This was ridiculous. And then,
yeah, this looks pretty stupid. Purchase. Mm-hmm. That's just how. I don't know why. I just thought, oh, it looks kind of fun. I'll give it a go. And just the fact that it didn't have any kind of extraneous bullshit on it. It was just, this is what you've got. This screen here. And I looked at screenshots. I didn't know what was going on. Mm-hmm. I was like, why is this bad? I don't know why this is bad. And now I can, instinctively look at a Desert Golf screenshot and go, ooh, you fucked there. That's going to be a hard shot. And I can't stop putting it on. Like, honestly, since I got it, it's been on every single day, and I've been, just flicking maybe 2 or 3 holes there, or 100 or so. It's on. And for the reason that I cannot stop fucking playing it, I had to give it number 6.
Sweet.
What is your top 5? We're in top 5s. Number the 5th.
Number 5.
Good.
I used to do, in fact, we both used to do a little bit of games writing for various independent sites. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you get a game that came through that, you had no expectations from, and it ended up being huge. You ended up going like, oh my god, this is amazing. Mm-hmm. And this particular game was from a series that I'd not played before, that I'd heard a little bit about from retro times, and I know there's been more recent sort of updates to it, but it's just something that I've not invested in. I like my RPGs, but I've not really been tempted to delve into this sort of stuff. And a lot of these games have only been released in America, I think, as well. Although they've cropped up on PSN. But this game really surprised me, and I think it's an absolute fucking belter. And that's why it's in my number 5. My number 5 is Ys Memories of Calcetta on the Vita.
I knew that. Oh, I could tell going into that. That's what you were building up to. Brilliant. Okay, go. Tell me about it.
Absolute stormer. And I reviewed it for Plus XP and gave it in the 90s, I think. But the initial first impressions I had of the game could not have been worse.
Okay.
I got a character that got massive spiky red hair who
What's wrong with that?
who had amnesia and didn't remember where he was from. There was a world-ending thing going on, and I was like, and a lot of the dialogue was just like, oh, dear God.
You realise all you're doing is describing my life here, right?
Yeah. It was just really, really bad, and I just didn't click with it at all, and kind of sighed and switched it off for the first few days. And I, like I say, my first experience with these games really was Lee Alexander did a presentation at Game City in 2013. Where she mentioned her connection to some of the early games when she was a lass, and of recent years there's been a few reviewed on Classic Game Room on YouTube. But the story when it gets going, it's set up a world that it then, I don't know, removes itself from a little bit. It takes itself away from these RPG cliches, and when the world itself opens up beyond that, it starts to be just amazing fun to play. That you end up trolling about as sort of the main character, and there's this sort of ponytailed guy who's a bit of a bruiser that was there, and you could, when the enemies come towards you, you could swap between them, and each had got different characteristics and stuff. Say ponytail guy was like big with his fists, and sort of the main sort of redhead lad was sort of quite choppy and quite fast, and they got these different abilities. But when those abilities were applied, it wasn't just, you weren't just controlling the character and they were doing more damage to the enemy. Like there was one bit with this this kind of huge bison type thing that was like charging at us, and I got this ability for the ponytail gent, which was like this sweep attack, and I sort of launched in with this sweep attack and just took the creature's leg from under it, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And you could swap about on the fly between the characters. It was really fast. The combat was just insanely good fun. And the more I progressed into the world, the more curious I was about the world. And the story at this point didn't particularly matter, because I was just having so much fun with the mechanics of it, and just finding new stuff out, and even grinding and going back through the levels again. I plain enjoyed the combat and the discovery, and sort of enacting these different moves and seeing what I could get away with, and seeing what I could find, and my characters constantly building from there. It was like almost like the same experience that I've seen other people talk about, like a Bayonetta or a Devil May Cry.
Okay.
I was getting out of this, and I'm not saying it's sort of like as twirly massive as that, but there is a certain pace to it and a certain instinct, and yet you're being mindful of who you're using on which character, on which sort of enemy, and swapping out between them. And I just found that I became more and more addicted to it. And in particular, I went down to London to preview Dark Souls 2, and I was on a 2 a.m. bus. And this bus, when I got on, the bathroom door was slamming, and there was a sort of stench of something vile which had been pushed out and died therein. And I was thinking, I'm not going to survive like this journey down to London with this, and it absolutely stole me away from that. I just got lost in the world and had stupendous amounts of fun. I've seen it crop up on a couple of sales on PSN, but it is a flat out doozy, and it's one of those games on Vita that people aren't jumping up and down enough about, like this, and like what was it, the Taukiden that I mentioned earlier.
Oh yeah.
The Vita's got a lot of great games now. It's been a great year for the Vita, but there are still a huge amount of games that aren't being shouted about on Vita that deserve attention, and this is one of them. So yeah, that's my number 5 here.
Oh, magic. Does the combat still work in that kind of, you just kind of run at the enemies kind of way?
Well, you can
because the East was like, I think you have your sword in front and you kind of bump into them in the old ones.
You just start chopping. It's just like an action game.
Okay.
Just like get stuck in. If you run at an enemy, you know, certain enemies can take more damage, say from behind, or certain ones, you know, if you run in with the main character, you'd be like chopping with the sword and stuff like that. But if another creature comes in, a different creature, like the big ponytail guy had this like incredible wrestling move, this like slam that you kick in with at a certain point.
Nice.
That you could use, and all of these you could map to the buttons. They got you got specific touchscreen controls as well, which weren't, oh, let's use the touchscreen. They were actually really handy. It looks pretty as anything, and it's a belter.
Nice. I shall look for it in the sales.
Do it, please.
I will. Okay. Right then. Well, my next game, my number 5, seamless, is a game that came out on the PC originally. I actually kickstarted this one because I saw it and I fell in love in the first trailer. It came out on PC. I downloaded it, played the shit out of it for about 2 days, absolutely rinsed it, and cannot wait for the PS4 version to come out. It's an incredibly nostalgic game. The game is Shovel Knight.
I knew that's where you were going.
Yeah!
We're going to have a spate of buying the games that the other has recommended. Because, again, we've come up with a list that doesn't really cover the other's games.
No, we're doing different games so far. It's good. It's working. I like it. Okay, so Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight is brilliant because Shovel Knight is exactly like the games you used to play when you were younger, but it isn't like them at all. Let me explain. It's how you remember them. It's how you remember these games playing, but not necessarily how they actually were. A lot of, say, the old NES games, and you go back to them, your SNES, your Master System, your whatever. Me, the only man who ever owned a Master System. And like you think, oh yeah, this was really, really good, but you sort of find yourself getting battered if you don't, give it the time. And if you die, you have to start from the very, very beginning again. And a lot of games, they were sort of, the phrase that gets bandied around is Nintendo hard. But they were hard, but not forgiving. So you die and you have to start from the very beginning of the game again. Shovel Knight, thankfully, does away with that. If you die, you just respawn. You've got infinite lives. You can try as many times as you want, and that small thing elevates it from sort of retro curiosity to really a proper, properly realised sort of take on that kind of game. The main character you play is the Shovel Knight, whose weapon is a shovel, used for digging and for smacking and for a really satisfying down thrust. The Zelda down thrust, really, really satisfying one to hit.
Isn't it kind of like the DuckTales?
Yeah, it's the pogo bump. You can do it across multiple things as well, so you can pogo across people. It is glorious. If you think, when you look at the game, if you think something should work, it probably will. For example, if you see there are these mage enemies coming forward, and they shoot a big, round, sort of slow-moving projectile at you, and you think, can I deflect that with my shovel? Smack.
Yes, you can.
Yes, I can, and it will often fly back and hit the thing you aimed it at.
Oh, sweet!
It's one of those moments where you do it and you're like, "Fucking get in," and then you endeavour to do it on every single one of those guys you see from that point onwards.
Because it's been a massive success, hasn't it?
Huge success, and it bloody deserves it. The level design is spot on.
Can we talk about your mate? Is it Jake Kaufman?
Oh God, yeah. The soundtrack is fantastic. It's written by, as we say, Jake Kaufman, who is the guy who did the Double Dragon Neon soundtrack, which is in my top soundtracks of ever. And he, once again, Jake Kaufman, he gets it. He gets the aesthetic. The soundtrack is put together. It just fits the game so very perfectly. It is exciting and it fills you full of energy. It's like, yeah, we're going to go on a quest. We're going to save the world. Yeah.
Oh, I want this now.
Really puts, really gets your blood going when you hear it.
I want this now.
You do. And do you know what it says when you start a level sometimes? It says, strike the earth in capital letters.
Outstanding.
Like, all that needs is maybe a motherfucker on the end. And that's like, yeah, that's it. Sold. Don't need any other phrase in my life.
It's a silent motherfucker.
Strike the earth, motherfucker. But yeah, it's a joy. It is a fucking joy to play. And like I say, it's exactly what you remember those games being like through the rose-tinted glasses. But you can play it now, and it won't make you crazy. It's even got some, right, you'll like this, it's got a bit of Dark Souls in it.
Yeah, well, I heard it was an influence before.
Yeah, you drop if you get killed, your stuff gets dropped. Like some of your money gets dropped where you left, and you can pick it back up again. And you know, money's important. You can spend it on better armor or health upgrades, that sort of thing. But it's also got a really intriguing checkpoint mechanic, where the checkpoint's these big glass orbs, and you hit it, and it's like, ooh, checkpoint. If you're feeling like a cocky twat, you can smash that checkpoint for quite a large amount of money.
Yeah, I heard this.
But that checkpoint is then gone.
Because I think James Carter's playing it at the moment, and he's really enjoying it, but isn't that great at it. And he's like, smash your checkpoint. I don't think so.
Yeah, I did not smash a single one in my entire run. I was like, no, I need those.
Mind you, I suppose that's when... Has it got multiple difficulty levels as well?
Do you know? I can't remember.
Because if there is, I mean, you can always... as things get harder and you get better at it. Because I've heard that it's quite a tight playtime from going from start to finish. But
yeah, I smashed it in about 2 days.
But there's the calling to keep replaying it is huge because it's so well designed.
It's so good. I mean, the only aspects of it I think I didn't like, and these are really minor niggles. Because it was kickstarted, and because with many games that are kickstarted now, there was a reward tier where you could add a boss to the game.
Okay.
And it was like a lot of money, but you could, design your own boss, or with their help, design an idea that they'd put in the game. But the problem is those bosses generally feel quite out of place. They don't feel like they belong as part of the whole, as I think is the problem with a lot of Kickstarter games like that, because people put their stupid ideas in and they don't necessarily make the game better.
Do you worry that might be the case with Kratos in the?
No, I'm sold on that. I'm fine with that.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm a God of War man, so I'm totally fine with that being a secret bonus boss. I'm cool with that. But yeah, no, the only one of the secret bosses that I felt actually really fit the game in a way that not even fit the game. The only one I really didn't think was sort of stood out was Zubaz. And if you don't watch the Two Best Friends Plays video on YouTube, that won't make any sense. But Zubaz was a guy that was cut out of Street Fighter. He kind of had like a weird sort of jaggedy black face paint mask, and he had like short spiky hair and like belts over his chest and like chains on his fist. He's a really dumb character. But they sort of latched onto him. He's become a thing now. So one of the guys who does it, Matt, he kickstarts a lot of games. And kind of with all his YouTube money, has the money to kind of go for the big stupid tier. So we've got a Zubaz in Dive Kick. There's a Zubaz in Shovel Knight. There's going to be a Zubaz in Super Kaiju Combat, I think. It's like a giant robot monster fighting game. And I'm okay with Zubaz. I think Zubaz is a cool guy. But yeah, I just found like the bosses that they put in with the Kickstarter backers weren't quite as good as the ones that were actually part of the game. Your King Knight, your Polar Knight. But the actual bosses in the game, not a problem with any of them. They are all unique. Every stage has got its own personality. It looks spot on. Like, it is a spot on game.
But very, very, very dinky.
Niggles. Yeah.
Great
dinky
game.
niggles on a brilliant game. And it plays like a goddamn dream as well. And the soundtrack, you can buy on Bandcamp for a pay what you want price. I advise giving him all your money. Or save a few pounds, because then you can buy the remix album, which is a whole bunch of other remixes of the same songs. Some of them influenced by, I believe, the guy who did some of the music for Mega Man.
Cool.
Who Jake Coulson said was a big influence, and then got him on to do that. And it also has a song called Hyper Camelot on it, which is the greatest Saturday morning cartoon music that's never existed. Cool. Just Google it. I'm not going to go into why it's brilliant. Just Google it. You'll find out. So yeah, my number 5 game of the year, fucking Shovel Knight, Strike the Earth.
Cool as.
Cool.
So down to number 4 now.
Or up to number 4?
Counting down to from
but
7 to
my
1.
list goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so I'm going up. Moving on.
Counting down from 7 to 1.
Number 4.
A game which just again wasn't promoted. A game I didn't pick up initially, like an idiot, because I was waiting for a sale. I always knew it was going to be my thing, even though my first taster of the game a little while before didn't really snare me in. and this was something that I ended up watching a lot of on YouTube and became more and more captivated by. And it's by a creator that's done a big favourite, just a couple of big favourites of mine in the past. And I ended up just falling into it, and if I got half an hour, I'd put it on, and I'd have these wonderful little chapters where my heart would stir, and my eyes would be all over the design work. Jesus Christ, the design work and the world. And I ended up falling deeper and deeper into it. And it's a game that I still wouldn't say I've even vaguely mastered or got the best out of, but my heart is genuinely all over it. And so my number 4 for 2014 is Soul Sacrifice Delta.
Ooh.
A game which Sony did not promote at all.
No.
It took...
They went hard on it for like a week, ages ago, and then it vanished.
Sony did not promote that game at all.
Not Delta. Soul Sacrifice itself, maybe like when it was announced, but that was it.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, Soul Sacrifice had a decent degree of promotion initially, and the creator went back to it and almost did this is how it was sold to me, that he went back and did a sort of a version 1.8, that he refined the gameplay, he added in more story stuff, he added in an extra faction, he made the mechanics a little more obvious for upgrading and understanding the game a little more. They added they polished up the graphics, added extra weather effects. He basically did a full proper Uber spin on it, and Sony did not convey that to the general public at all. I had folks who were asking me like, "What is it? A sequel?" Oh, I played it on PS Plus and I didn't really click with it, and neither did I. And in the same way that Matt Lees sold Dragon's Dogma to the universe, I take my hat off to our friend Gadget Girl Kylie, who not only supported the game but put out endless amounts of videos showing off the wonderful design work, the story. There was an amazing Twitch stream that I watched where her and a number of other people were on this world, and there were this sort of like these mutated versions of like fairy tale characters and stuff that were there. Massive battle on this place. There was a giant teapot in the center of the room, and everybody ran towards the teapot. The whole of the level disintegrated, and then it sort of went like streaming almost like through time and space and all this sort of stuff, and would then stop. The level would spill out of the bottom of the teapot again, and another enemy would be there to battle in multiplayer. The different factions in the original had you could either save or sacrifice sort of a creature, and so you could either use your powers for good or for evil. But this time there's a third faction which allows you to leave it up to fate. And
I remember hearing about that.
You kind of gone one way or the other. I mean, I've gone towards the light with my story, but I suppose this leads back to Infamous Second Son
all over again, because I know which way I'd go.
But a lot of these creatures are mutated versions of regular people, and these folks will join you in battle in later battles as well.
Oh wow!
But the place that it's fun to play, and I desperately want a PlayStation TV to play this on the big telly to appreciate it properly. But there were little moments where the story stuff between the levels, which turn over like pages and remind me a lot of 1,000 Years of Dreams from Lost Odyssey, where your characters sort of you're having the story told to you, and it's you're being told this tale that's almost a romance, and this person that's quite feisty that you have affection for, called Sortiara. There's a certain point in the game where to progress, you have to kill her. Ooh. And it's fucking heartbreaking. and I just fucking put the game down afterwards. And at first I tried to save her, and this battle just went on over and over and over, and I had to sacrifice her, and that's why she was pushing me away, because she couldn't allow affection for someone that might not be able to take a life. And I watched a video from Gadget Girl Kylie's stream where the echo of Sortiara appears later on, and she just looks back and smiles at you, and with this look in her eye that just suggests so much. And I was like, fucking hell, this is romance. There's twisted fairy tales in there, incredible worlds. It's fun to play, and it's the game that I keep putting on my Vita, and it might just be a chapter here and there, but I don't want to play more than that, because the story and the chapters resonate to such a degree that I kind of have to marinate in it a little bit afterwards. It's a proper gem on Vita. If you've played Soul Sacrifice and haven't really clicked with it, I was with you. Soul Sacrifice Delta is a world of special. If you're curious about it, check out Gadget Girl Kylie's videos, because they tell you more than I ever could. And again, I've really only scratched the surface of it, but I need the art book for this. And I'm smitten with the world, and I love to see Sony take it onto PlayStation 4 and beyond. But I need a PlayStation TV for this game, because I just want it in. I want to boost it up to that larger scope.
Nice. How mechanically, just to take it away from the emotional side for a sec, how much like Monster Hunter would you say it is?
I wouldn't.
No?
No.
Because that's the impression I got when I played it, and I'm one of the people who's tried Soul Sacrifice and just can't quite gel with it. I found it a bit cumbersome myself.
There's a lot of things to get your head around, and a number of those things are actually streamlined a little bit in Soul Sacrifice Delta. Just a lot of the mechanics seemed a little more natural for me to know what I was doing and how I was arming my characters and where I was putting these abilities and how I could then double them, and it's just, I got on with it a great deal better, and I believe that's because the mechanics were refined. As to whether they rushed out the original, I don't know, because there's a spate in Japan of you put out a version and then you put out another version, and it's happened with Taukidam's had Taukidam Extreme, Soul Sacrifice has had it, Monster Hunter 4 had it, and then it went to Monster Hunter 4, no, Monster Hunter 4G I think in Japan, and
look how many Street Fighters there have been.
I don't think it's that. I think it's there seems to be sort of two versions of the same game, where one has just been taken on a little bit. And the cool thing is, from Gadget Girl Kylie's streams again, is that there's been multiple free DLC between a lot of these versions as well. So you can get Soul Sacrifice Delta costumes for Taukiden, and there were Future Wars costumes that came into Taukiden as well.
Oh, nice.
And there seems to be this nice little crossover between the games like that, where it's almost like a nice little advert between them, and you know they're not charging you for them really, but there's obviously this Future Wars that's just,
I mean, Freedom Wars.
Freedom Wars, yeah. That's just come out.
Say what?
which looks really good. And God's Eater Burst 2 is apparently a bit good as well, which hasn't come over here yet. But yeah, there's a lot of hidden gems that are out there for the Vita, but this one really stole me away, and it's I'm not rushing this at all, but it is a wonderful exception for when I make time for it. So
awesome. All right, good pick.
Thank you, man.
Good. Okay. Right. Moving on up my list. Rocketing up the chart to number 4. Is that still sounding good? Because I can't hear it back.
There's nothing really coming through, but I'm enjoying that you're putting your face in a castle.
It's like being in Attack on Titan.
I don't remember that moment. It's like, fucking Ginge.
He's putting his face in our turrets.
Jinju.
No, we're getting to it. Okay. Yes, my number 4 it's a title that in our games we were looking forward to show of last year. I think I talked about it, but I think we'd almost forgotten about it. Yeah, I think you know where I'm going. It's a game made by a developer who I have not played a single game of before this one. It's a game I didn't expect to grab me in the way I expected it, in the way it did grab me. It's a game I've given a lot more time than I expected to, by a long way. And it's probably one of my biggest surprises of the whole year in terms of what I expected to what I actually got out of it. My number 4 is Destiny.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, so Destiny, we talk about it quite a bit. We have a whole show about it. So I'm going to try not to cover too much ground that we've talked about forever.
Go for it.
Okay, I'll try and sum up. Destiny is a game where you shoot the alien in space sometimes. Was that too brief?
Stop reading from the back of the box.
Ah,
But
it says here there's DLC.
This is my number 2, so we might as well cover it together.
Okay.
In a Chat and John style.
Let's skip it. Yeah, let's move on. Okay, so yeah, Destiny. It would be higher. But when I looked at all these games that I had in my top 4, I couldn't justify putting it higher than the other 3 games on my list. Destiny is a game in a genre that I don't usually like, mixed with another genre that I don't usually like. FPSs and MMOs. Don't really care for either, if I'm honest. Generally, most AAA releases that come out on the console tend to be, 50% shooters, so I just sort of roll my eyes and move on and look at what's next. I've never been a COD, I've never been a Battlefield person, I've never shot the Halos. Think of other shooters, I've probably not played those either. My favourite shooter is probably Mirror's Edge, which probably says a lot. But yeah, Destiny came along, and I know we got ourselves a bit excited, and the alpha that they dropped just after Gamescom, not Gamescom, E3. Was it E3?
Yeah, it was E3.
Yeah, it was E3. Yeah,
they announced that it was live immediately, didn't they?
Alpha's on now. Then I'm like, wait, what? Just immediately, just got to push Laura out of the way, grabbed the computer, and took it off of her, and got myself signed up for that. And within, I would say, about 10 minutes, I think I'd sold myself on it.
I was quite shocked at that because I knew that you were kind of curious.
But I wasn't gonna I wasn't in the kind of like, yeah, we're buying this. I was like, interested, give it a go.
It's free, so
exactly, you can't argue with free. Who can argue with free? So yeah, popped it on and botted about and really clicked with it amazingly quickly. Batted around, had a go at the strike as a level 5 character. Had a go at the strike and utterly awful at it, and I think eventually we beat it with a team of like 3 of us that were about level 6, and it really felt like we really had a long drawn out hour-long slog to beat this thing. There was no audio chat. I think there was no voice chat in place at that point, so I was just rollicking around with randoms and just having a blast. And I was amazed at how good it was, like how much fun it was. And then the beta came out a bit later, and I didn't particularly play that myself. I thought, well, I've played enough now. I don't need to play it again. I'm just going to wait for the full game. It's really cool to see other people getting as into it as I was during the alpha, and it's kind of nice to see people going, oh, it's brilliant. And then for every person that you saw going, oh, I didn't like it, oh, you've just lost a sale, you saw about 5 more going, that was really cool, I'm buying this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's the best marketing tool you can really do. I think that's probably the best marketing tool you can do. Let people play it.
Yeah.
Give them a chunk and say, what do you think? And you go, oh, okay. And I know I've just explained what a demo is, which makes it sound fucking stupid. But it's the thing like Destiny, like to have it be working online, and have the servers be up so you can interact with other people and run around and join fire teams. That's the game. There, you're not just running around and shooting aliens by yourself. Wouldn't have been a good teaser of it. You needed to have that online working, and I think that was a good idea going forward for the alpha and beta, is getting all that in place for the alpha and the beta. And I think that's what sold it. Rollicking around with your mates is fun. I mean, I have only really just finished the story for like 3 or 4 months later, because I really was taking my time. I think I was level 20 before I'd even gone to Venus.
Yeah. We went there a little while ago, didn't we? Because there was stuff that you hadn't
loads
done.
Yeah, we did a bit of a mop up, didn't we? And just sort of battered through most of Venus in an afternoon.
Then that that final battle with the lightning hitting the 3 statues.
Oh,
what a level! What a level!
So good. Like just the fact that you can jump on, grab a few bounties, go on, shoot around a bit, and just non-committedly jump on with your mates, hang about, and shoot games. It's a really good social game. Like we've spent hours dicking around, haven't we?
I'm not sure. I've known of another game that's done what that's done to a degree of just being able to fucking relax into it.
I mean, like the tower particularly. That's what the fun we have on that. That's what I thought PlayStation Home was supposed to be like.
It is, funnily enough. I hadn't thought about that. You're right.
Right? Like, just sort of running around, being a bit of a twat, buying a couple of items, choosing what we're going to do next. It's a really nice sort of just silly place just to run about a bit and, see what's new in the shops and find the ball and then see everyone lose their collective shit over the ball. That first week particularly, as soon as the football came out, just every single person in that place lost their minds. You'd see them all stop what they were doing and then just run after the ball until someone kicked it off, and inevitably 3 people would jump after it and just jump off the edge of the thing trying to get the ball. It was magical to watch. It really was. But yeah, Desters, love it to pieces. And I think I've got reasons why it's not higher, but I'll let you talk a bit first.
Cool. So I might as well just interject my gubbins here now.
Go, go
on the subject. So Destiny is my number 2. And I had no expectations at the time of our E3 show. As far as I could tell, the hype had come and gone. Whilst you and Josh were kind of excited, I wasn't. And the weird thing is that I'm such a huge Halo nerd that it just felt like Destiny had just lost momentum, and there was such a huge amount of hype initially, and there was the initial talk, and then we saw some of the art designs, then we saw the first trailer, and
kind of vanished, didn't it?
Things went really quiet, and there may well have been reasons for that. Reading between the lines, that there seems to have been quite split down the middle with regards to what was going on for Bungie and what Destiny should be, with allegedly half of the team thinking it should be this big Dark Souls-like story-based experience, and others that felt that would harm the game, I guess, and that it should be pared back. And I've mentioned before that I absolutely adore Halo ODST, and Halo Reach as well is a really, really personal, important game to me as well. And both of those were written by Joseph Staten, who was the original writer of Destiny. And Joseph Staten left around March time, I think, when it's alleged that someone was brought in to start writing the Grimoire cards, and the game was kind of carved up a little bit. And part of my mind still wonders what that game was before it was carved up. That's kind of the elephant in the room. That's the huge spectre, if you will. But I think it was Andy Hamilton from Midnight Resistance, at the point that you were raving about it, spoke about the alpha and sort of compared it to Phantasy Star Online, that he'd had fun. David Turners was speaking about it. I played the beta on Xbox 360.
Oh yeah, you did, didn't you?
I wasn't next gen back then.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know quite what to expect. I still thought it was pretty as heck on the 360. But I was surprised how much I just enjoyed trolling around in the world and kind of shooting regular aliens that were there. And I didn't get to the end of the beta when they introduced the moon into there and like the strike. I saw that happen, but I was just enjoying sort of trolling around the world, and at that point I was like, yeah, I'm all over this, and I think that this will be my first PS4 experience. So that was it was at that point it was going to be my first PS4 game. I ended up getting my PS4 a little bit before that, but yeah, it was something that I wanted to upgrade to. And a friend I know that manages a video game shop said that PS4 Destiny bundle, the white one,
they
they were shipping out tons of them. they did really, really well with it. So yeah, I found a very different experience in single player to multiplayer. At times it felt really scary on my own, overwhelming even as I got lost in the atmosphere. And there was one particular boss encounter or leading up to a boss encounter where I played it twice in the same day. I played it on my own, I played it with you. And on my own I was kind of holding my breath, and I felt like I was being overwhelmed. There was a certain point where I had a massive enemy come towards me, and I was running around this room like Benny Hill. I was like like waiting for my energy to just hop back up as this thing with a massive sword was chasing me around. And then when we did the same level later on, it was like cowboys waltzing into the frontier. There was a confidence. It was the one where there was the two sort of massive bay doors that opened.
Yeah, the one on Earth. Is it the one where you meet Rasputin or hear about Rasputin the first time?
I think so. It's like the one where there's kind of massive doors that open, and ahead of you there's kind of some steps that go down, 2 platforms on either side, and massive ships are coming in towards you and just dropping tons of stuff.
And they just appear in front of the doors.
Yeah, and you and I were either side of these doors taking things down. When one needed to reload, the other was covering, and we were constantly talking to each other. And whereas there certain parts of the game where we'd meet up later on and we'd just like, oh, so what you been up to? And we'd have a good old chat whilst popping things in the head. This was one of those where it's like, oh, do this. Afterwards, we're like, oh my god, that was really good.
It was focus, wasn't it? It was right. You do that. You go there. Now out of ammo. Quick, cover me. Okay, cool. Grenade. Right. Okay, now move. What the fuck is that? Big guy coming your way. It was. We didn't stop talking, did we?
No, I mean, I know you've drifted away from it. You've drifted onto other stuff, but it's a game that I've enjoyed listening. It's a podcast game for me. When I'm on my own, I'll put on a podcast and I'll go and grind some bounties, and a lot of that is listening to other folks who entertain me whilst running around and getting new stuff. And I ended up doing the raid initially, which was just baffling and brilliant and terrifying. And I know you still got that to do, which is something that I really want you to experience because it's amazing. And I did sort of half a raid then, and then went back into it with Sean Bell, Jay Taylor, Carl Moon, Owen from Midnight Resistance was there, Rowan Searle, and it was just again there were loads of newbies on there, and Carl Moon was amazing about not talking down to anybody, letting everybody sort of giving them the confidence, and because there were a lot of mechanics that need to be explained that aren't in the main game. And I just remember this certain point where we were all trying to do the last bit of the raid, the final bit, and things kept going wrong. And there was a certain point where previously we'd all been talking to each other, and it'd be like, right, if you died, say who's going over to pick them up, who's doing what, where things are happening, and all this sort of stuff. And things went quiet at a certain point, and I just like Sean Bell just went, fucking hell. And he was just like broke the silence, and everybody sort of that was it. He went, fuck's sake. And everybody just like pissed themselves laughing, and we just sort of started making headway towards the end. And it was brilliant. The DLC came along, which was maybe it was a little slight. We've got another piece of DLC coming March. Then there's the massive update, which might even be a retail thing,
thing that's coming.
Comet, yeah, which is 12 new story missions and other stuff, and then extra DLC from there. I still play it pretty much daily. I'm going for like Crotus challenges now. It's a world that I enjoy just running around in. I mean, it looks like a painting. The 7-year-old me that went to see Star Wars would just be like, oh my god. And I still haven't tired of it. And in many ways, I wish that the DLC was coming a little quicker than it is. And like last night, I went on and I did a few of the Crota's bounties. I'm trying to get up to Crota's rank 3 to get like a new outfit or new shaders and things like that. And did those and really didn't have an awful lot left to do. But I think much of that's down to the fact that whilst I see like Jay Taylor's still on and Carl Moon's sort of running into raids with other sort of experienced people and getting Uber bounties at the minute, but you know, I kind of miss us adventuring on there, and I really want you to kind of pick up the DLC because I'd like to do that stuff with you. Well,
this is what I was going to come back to. I've kind of looked at the DLC. Like, it was hinted that I might get it for Christmas, and then I didn't. That's just me reading things wrong. I'm an idiot. But because I've not been into the raid yet, I kind of feel like I want to do that first before tackling the DLC. But like the DLC seems to be woven over the top of the game in such a way that it's kind of saying, go on, buy it. Go on, go talk to this person, but you can't yet. You've not bought the DLC yet. Oh, Weekly Strike, you can't do that yet.
It's not that though. I mean, the DLC has been put into rotation, and there are certain strikes on the DLC that you'll do, and those will come up as the weekly strikes. So that's not. I mean, I wish it would be nice for those folks that haven't got to that to
have an alternative, maybe,
to not have a weekly strike sort of taken away from them. Perhaps the weekly strike. I don't know. There maybe being 2 for people that have got like the DLC as well. But
wouldn't hurt, would it?
When I first started playing that, I did a few bits on my own. Then I went in with Jay Taylor, and Jay was showing me 3 ghosts in one of the areas, one of which was wonderfully well hidden. Played that level again with Carl Moon, then went into the Omnigul fight's incredible. I love the Omnigul fight. Carl had found sort of a little bit of an exploit, which was kind of 3 of us standing in a certain area, one of us firing sniper rifles, and the other one just standing behind them and constantly reviving them every time he got shot down. I really enjoyed those strikes in the DLC, and we paid about 30 quid for it with a pair of headphones, didn't we?
Something like that. It was like 30, 40 quid or something. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. I think it was about 35, 30 quid. I think. I've more than had my money from that, and with the extra stuff, I got the DLC for 30 quid.
It's not too bad.
I'd say I've more than had 15 quid's worth of dollar from this new one, and also it's a few extra trinkets on a game that I proper still enjoy playing. With regards to the raid, I think it's worth you getting the DLC because you'll upgrade your armor a little better, a little quicker. Things have changed with regards to the armor and your weapons, like exotics. Now you can trade them in for a newer version which will give you more light, but you've got to upgrade them from the start again. But you will upgrade them faster.
Thing is, I haven't really upgraded much of my shit very far anyway. I mean, just by virtue of the fact that I'm just not on it as much as most of the internet appears to be. I mean, I'm still level 26 with 1 character.
Yeah, but 26. Yeah. I mean,
it's not bad, but it's not close to.
Yeah, but I'm only nudging on 31 now, and I've really only done that because level 26 was the cap, wasn't it?
No, it's always 30.
Oh, 33 is now the ceiling, isn't it?
It was 30 and now it's 33. It's gone up by 3.
Well, I was only 26 before the DLC kicked in. And moreover, I've kicked on from that because a lot of the extra bits that I've gotten, I've got a higher ceiling, so I can get extra light for them. But it's worth it, and I want to play the raid with you, and I want to do these other levels with you because part of the experience has been kind of us as brothers, the same thing that brought us together with Twin Humanities. It's been
Wolfpacking that shit.
Yeah, it's been an experience where you and I can just. I mean, we had long periods where we were both doing sort of different hours. You started up that new store. My shifts had gone all over the place, and it was a game that even beyond us adventuring in the game and getting further than that, it was almost secondary to, see you on Destas. And then it would be popping on like, so how you been?
Yeah.
I was just chatting shit and just popping stuff off and getting into scrapes and like, right, what should we do now? Oh, I need some helium filaments, right? And just johnnying around on the
moon
and doing like strikes and which bounties have you got? A lot of the time, the stuff that people complain about being the grind, we were just having a chat.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I haven't grinded once. Like, I don't feel like I've run around doing bounties for a while, but because they're kind of fun. Yeah. I never feel like you see a lot of people complaining about, they're getting to the grind. And I think if I do hit the grind, if I notice I'm in the grind, I think that's where I think I'd stop. I
think if there's any game
as soon as I stop having fun... Like,
if there's any game you're playing that you're not enjoying, just don't play that game anymore.
Yeah.
But... I think they...
I still don't have a weapon that I use all the time that is higher than blue, higher than rare.
Really?
I've got 2 assault rifles. I got my one from the mystery benefactor today. I got an auto rifle that seems to have the worst accuracy of any gun I've ever used. So that's got scrapped immediately. I have the Shadow Price auto rifle, and I just don't get on with the auto rifles. And I've got a bloody heavy machine gun, which I don't use. That's the best I've got of them, and they're all purple. So I haven't had a single amazing named weapon drop yet. And I don't know. It's like kind of like I'm level 26. I should have 1 by now, surely.
Well, you've seen that the exotic scout rifle that I've got.
Oh, the insane one.
The one that's got kinetic ability attached to it as well. That's incredible. But when the DLC kicked in, I had to wait for... Zero had the new version of it straight away, and you can swap it with an exotic shard to get the new version. It essentially means that all of your upgrades go back to 0. So you've not got any of the stuff from advancing the weapon, but it's more powerful and will become more powerful. And it's seems faster to upgrade. So I'm just waiting on an exotic shard on Friday now to take that up to where it was. I've just got the new exotic version of Patience and Time, which is my amazing sniper rifle. The Crota's bounties, if anything, give you another reason to another reward for going johnnying about on Earth or wherever it is, and they vary things up a little bit as well. It's not just your say 100 headshots or anything like that. Sometimes it's killing however many hive it is in the back, or taking them down with Nova bombs, or your precision stuff. And it gives you an extra reason for going around doing that. You can obviously advance your Vanguard rank with the regular stuff, but the Crota's Bane bounties will lead you towards some really fucking ace shaders, if nothing else.
And if there's one thing I like, it's pretty colours.
Yeah, I'm doing.
Are any of them orange?
I'm doing all of this for a new pair of pants. In fact, the next one gives you orange pants, if I remember rightly.
Oh dear.
So.
Oh, that's me back in then. There we go.
Sparkly yellow and orange pants. You had me at orange pants.
You had me at orange.
So it's great, and I honest to God, I proper fucking miss us chatting shit and johnnying around in that. And I beg you to get the DLC.
Well, now the Christmas season's out the way. I've got my evenings back again, so it's more likely. So yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, cool, man. As. Okay, cool. That was my number 4 and your number 2. Right, the next bit's going to get complicated then. Right. I think it's your 3 next.
It is, and it's Dark Souls 2. It's the game that I had the most expectations for this year. We both played the you played a version of the beta at an expo in Manchester, hadn't you?
I did indeed. By the way, this is my number 2, so let's crack on.
Cool. I played the beta on PS3, and then went down to London and did a preview of it, which was a very different game to the one that I played in the beta, but I still loved. Like I say, massive expectations for this game, and I just feel that it's been undermined. I just think that people, for me, haven't got it. Or Gary from Bonfireside Chat mentioned in the latest episode that he said, I just feel that the way that people judge a game normally has gone sort of awry because we're comparing this game to Dark Souls. And
to be fair, what else is there to compare it to? I mean,
I can see that, but at the point that a lot of people came onto the original Dark Souls, the game had suddenly become cheap. The sites were commenting on it because no games were coming out, and it would be like, we're finally trying Dark Souls. And a lot of the lore had been mined and packaged by brilliant storytellers. And then when they came in at the ground floor with this one, what was there just felt empty to them. And I think it's a different kind of story. I'm curious to see where they go with it, with the Scholar of the First Sin, and how they expand it, because maybe they're acknowledging that a little bit as well. But it's a game that I've continually come back to replay. I've had shed loads of fun with, and a story that kind of echoes more and more as time's gone on. I find myself falling deeper into the world and deeper into the story.
That's kind of nice, because it does say the story is cyclic, and the more you play it, the more you seem to get it.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the position, obviously, of doing a Dark Souls podcast, and the turning point. I was enjoying the game. Don't get me wrong, really, really enjoying the game. There was, there were issues and design decisions that we all had with the game, but we were all having fun with it. But there was one point where we got a little feedback, and it was basically talking about Lucatiel, and of how one of our listeners had said that Lucatiel is going through this world and is looking for her brother, but is forgetting who she is. And when you meet up with Lucatiel, you're almost an anchor for her, that she remembers you and her purpose, and it centers and steadies her.
Yeah.
And the feedback was that that this person had a huge connection with their stepdad, and the stepdad had dementia and was forgetting the times that they spent together when they were young, and that this person was like a hero to them. And all of a sudden I just found myself falling into this story, and in the game, and seeing, not as just being like, oh, it's a curse and everyone's gone hollowed, and the echoes of Dark Souls. I just found this was a king whose people were losing their resonance, were losing their mind. And within experiments that he'd done on the human psyche, on the soul, on the dragons and their everlasting nature, was trying to find a way to keep his people together. And as we know with Vendrick, he eventually lost his mind. And he travelled across the sea to try and find a reason, obviously egged on by Nishandra, sort of, and her sort of machinations, and
got his brother Aldia to try some stuff, and then he tried some horrible stuff, and he was like, stop trying stuff.
Well, I mean, to add Aldia's splitting of the psyche, I thought was brilliant.
Oh, it's brilliant, yeah. I just love the idea that Vendrick said, okay, Aldia, got some ideas, let's stop the curse. And Aldia's ideas were all kind of horrific.
I don't know, I get a different impression of Aldia. Maybe I'm just seeing it all as a tragedy, but I'm seeing someone that tried to unlock the human psyche, that maybe found the splinters of his own psyche once once that was shattered, some of them were more bladed than others, and that with certain pushes or certain desires, they would rise to the fore and become dangerous and out of his control. A lot of what happens to that world is based on things going out of control and people making decisions which come back to haunt them. And that's the aspect that keeps on growing to me. And I really hope that they manage to focus in on that and just let that flourish for other people a little bit more as well. Because I think the fight mechanics are still great. I still think there's a lot of game in there. Maybe a little bit too much game, but you can't, for an instance, say that there's a lack of value or a lack of challenge. It's people are still PvPing the heck out of it. I was thoroughly entertained, and whilst I had my issues with it, I can't. It's still a different Souls from Dark Souls, as Dark Souls.
Oh, definitely,
is a different Souls to Demon Souls, and I think if there's the one thing that they perhaps should have done, and I know why they didn't do it, but they should have maybe called it something else, Souls.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, no, I mean, my take on Dark Souls 2 was a slightly different, because I got it for review, much to the jealous stares of everyone involved.
Much to the chagrin of your partner.
Yes, a lot of people hated me for a while. But I got it, like I say, a week early. I actually borrowed a 360 so I could get it, because I requested it, and it came through for review, and my pal was like, I've got it for you. I went, yeah, it's on 360. No! Because I, as yet, didn't have one. So he lent me a 360 very kindly for the week, so I could, actually use my week off.
You stayed wonderfully stum.
I did not say a word. I kind of decided to keep things to myself, because, and I'll tell you for why. With the other Souls games, those were games that I came to quite late. Well documented that I came to them quite a long time after other people went. So a lot of the ground had already been broken. A lot of the secrets were already out there. The tricks, the traps.
That's the reason that we started doing what we did, because I was experienced with them. You were new to the games, and it was that kind of McBouncage.
Yeah, but I always knew that if I was really stuck, I could find some help. With this, it was different. With this, I was more alone. I felt more alone in this than I have in probably any survival horror, because the servers were off. There were no messages. Nobody online had played it, so you couldn't go online and go, what do you do when it's a lost sinner? There was no way of doing it.
I realised that it's at a certain point thereafter where you were like, there's something I really need to tell you but I can't tell you. And that was Tidy's Tower of Flame.
Yes, I actually came across that 20 hours into the game. I did not even go there, and I managed to miss the Ring of Binding as well. Like I say, I was running around like a fucking idiot. Like, I didn't go down every hole. I was just kind of running around trying to put the game together in my own mind. And it was a way of experiencing a Souls game that I think I've missed out on the first two. It was literally the great unknown. Like, I was the one breaking the ground now, and if there were traps to be found and things to be missed, then I was the one doing it. And for that reason,
how did that feel?
It felt like it was more mine than the other two did.
Yeah, I can see that entirely.
That's why I think Dark Souls 2, that's why I put it at number 2 on my list, because it's the first one where I felt like, before other people got onto it, before, the PvP guys got involved, and before, you couldn't go to some areas without getting invaded by someone awful. It was mine.
Yeah.
And every problem that I came across, I had to work out myself. There was no handy summons to come along and help. I had to work out, how the humanity worked myself. I had to work all of it out on my own. And it was quite liberating.
Yeah,
in a way. It was really, like, it felt
wonderfully terrifying.
Terrifying. God, yeah. Like the first time you meet Tark, the big scorpion, and I did what everyone does and sort of jumped on his head, and then nothing happened and sort of wandered off. I didn't find what's the area where you talk to Licia and she moves the tunnel? Is it Huntsman's Copse that she puts up?
Is that the bit just? Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, did not find that for probably about 6 hours after I started looking for where I was supposed to go next.
Yeah.
Because I was running into a wall with the Sinner, which I eventually got past. I went all the way down the big shaft and fought the Rotten, and I was just lost. I was just walking around, could not find a single way forward, and then just on the off chance started speaking to her, and I felt, oh my god, is this how I do it? Oh my god, I'm an idiot. And just, it really enforces the point, talk to everyone, you know. God's sake, talk to everyone about everything, because if you miss a dialogue choice, you may miss an entire branch of the game. On a similar tact, I never found Belfry Luna on my first run. Didn't even know it existed until people were like, oh, the Belfry's good, and I'm like, where? Who? It's in the Lost Bastille. Like, no, it's not. I've been there, and still, I ran around for again like a good hour in the Lost Bastille, just trying to work out where the crap this place was, and just couldn't work it out. Things like the Pharos Lockstones, you know, working those out. I was like, are these a limited resource? Can I win these off stuff? Can I buy them?
Yeah, but that's and this is really the first time that we've spoken about this in detail. But that must have been such a. On the one hand, the whole thing just felt like your secret.
It was
at that point because you couldn't talk to anybody about it.
About Real Ornstein.
Yeah, you couldn't, and also this was a game that was evolving for you, and you were absolutely on the cusp of it. You weren't following anyone else. You were there in the midst of it.
Yeah, and it was kind of like ahead of the normal, you know, glut of people jumping on as well. Like before it, I mean, once the game actually came out, you know, within about 3 days, there'd already been people that had smashed it and written massive guides up. You know, YouTube playthroughs going up, so if you were really stuck, you could look that up. But you know, I think I managed to get through it. I think the only thing I needed help for, because I started again once my PS3 copy turned out. I started again from the very beginning. Sort of abandoned the 360 playthrough at the Smelter Demon. Got back up to the Smelter Demon and got pitilessly stuck again. Like that fight was fucking rough pre-patch.
I was alright at that point because I got to there and just summoned in 2 people that were like proper magic. Yeah,
no, I'd never. There were no summons on my version, and again, like because the summons weren't quite working. Yeah. I was kind of like I got Darren Gargett off Canarints to come and help me, and we, you know, bashed against it a few times and had problems. And so then when someone mentioned the Germ Shield, I was like, what? 100% fire resist? What? I mean, that fight has definitely been nerfed now because it's definitely
they've
easier.
Patched it. They've patched it, definitely.
That thing pre-patch was fucking brutal.
Yeah, I can understand that. Don't forget, I did Dark Souls 2 before any of that shit was patched, so dem feels.
Yep, we're the real bros. We got through it. You know, before the miracles, you know, back when miracles used to be ridiculously OP. And then they got nerfed, and now I was like, clerics are useless now.
That sounds biblical when you say it like that.
Back when miracles were OP. But yeah, that's why it's on my list. Dark Souls 2. It's the first Souls game that's felt like it was ever properly mine. Not that Dark Souls and Demon Souls are not mine; they are mine too. But this is my special baby.
But we're still playing it. We're still finding new ways to play it. And I mean that one of the reasons that Destiny's the place it is for me is that we played it so intensely and so much. And maybe I still feel that I'm underrating Dark Souls 2 a little bit, but I'm hoping for this huge flourish when the next gen versions come out. And I said to you that Bloodborne's going to be a big deal on PS4, but I'm quite curious to see
how Scholar goes down.
Well, not that. Just I'm curious to see the player base on the Xbox One version of Dark Souls 2.
Yeah.
Because I think that Bloodborne and Dark Souls 2 on PS4 are going to be divided. There's going to be a lot of people that are just purely focusing on Bloodborne, and I think that there'll be folks that are picking up Dark Souls 2 because they want to see the next gen stuff, and they want to see the story flourish, and there'll be new people to it.
It's probably the way I'm going to. It's probably the way I'm going to experience the Ivory, the Crown DLC, because I still haven't even got close to that on this game yet.
Well, but I think that as the hype goes into overdrive for Bloodborne on PS4, I think the knockback on that on the other side of it is that I think the sales of the Xbox One version of Dark Souls 2 are going to be big. And I think that there's going to be a larger user base that are playing that game alone. Yeah. And that to me makes me curious with the like the 6-player PvP stuff and.
God, yeah, I really can't wait to see what the splits. I want to see the numbers. I really want to see the numbers on that.
So currently currently I've got like Dark Souls 2 on order for Xbox One and PS4.
Fuck me.
I've got Bloodborne on order as well. There's those insert coin clothing t-shirts that are coming out end of the month.
I haven't pre-ordered any of them yet. I really should get onto that.
What, the t-shirts or the games?
Games.
Yeah.
I'm rubbish at it. That was my number 2 and your number 3, I think?
Yes, indeed.
Dark Souls 2. Wow, that's our 2 other shows covered. Right, so it's all fresh ground from here. It's my number... I've got a 3 and 1 left. What have you got left?
Just got 1.
Okay, well, I'll do my 3. And then you'll do your... Okay, good, that's worked out well. Okay.
Yeah.
I doubt there's going to be overlap here, but we'll see.
We've done a Chet and John, well, that's my... and then glued them together.
Yep, we have. Because someone's got to now. Pouring out a beer for them.
Chet and John.
Chet and John, man. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so my number 3. Number 3.
That sounded a bit more echoey.
Thanks. I'd stuck my face more into the turret.
Yeah.
And now I got a crenellation in my eye this time, so... Great, I can't see my list anymore. What is that? Is that a word? Yeah, it is. My number 3 was a PlayStation Plus game. Because, yeah, boy, that PlayStation Plus.
I know where you're going on this.
It's a PlayStation Plus game. It's a game that I'd played a bit of on the PC, but never really quite gelled with it because, like I say, I don't like keyboard controls for this sort of game, and I don't like using the Xbox controller. I just don't gel with it. It's just a fact these days. I just don't gel with it. It's a game that has had a massive refit for its appearance on the consoles. It's cross-buy, it's cross-play. I've been playing it on both machines. The game I have been playing in my number 3 slot for this year is The Binding of Isaac Rebirth.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Did you see that one coming?
I did. I knew it would be in there. I didn't know if it was going to be your 3 or your 1, to be honest. But I know that every time I look on Twitter, you're playing the monkey's balls out of it. Yeah.
I think every time I log on to PSN, I'm probably having a game of it. I can't think of another game. Well, I can think of loads of games. But recently, it has been the thing I turn on when I want a quick half an hour bash on something.
Yeah.
Binding of Isaac, okay, from the very top is another roguelike game where the world and the abilities you pick up are generated fresh every time you go in. It takes the place of sort of Zelda-style rooms, filled with hundreds of sort of strange demon babies and flies and poop monsters, and it's all disgusting things, but rendered in a very cute sort of, kids drawing kind of way. It's quite endearing, really. It sounds gross, but it's quite cute and charming in a kind of freaky, horrifying way. You play Isaac initially, and you can unlock more characters as you play, and you're getting through to try and beat up your mother, who's the final boss. It's complicated. The story's there, but you unlock it slowly, bit by bit. So that's all I'll say for now. The real trick with Isaac is that because it's all randomly generated, the items you pick up are also generated fresh every time, and these take a physical effect on Isaac as well as having mechanical bonuses. So, for example, you'll pick up an item, the common cold. Your eyes will go green, your eyes will go snuffly, and you'll shoot poison tears for now. You'll pick up items that will give you health upgrades, that will be like a helpful snack. You'll pick up goat horns that will, enforce the evil power of your shots. There is a pickup called Are You a Wizard, where your eyes split apart halfway and you shoot out diagonals from your face. There's a character called Azazel who you can unlock, who's a sort of flying demon child. But rather than shooting tears, when tears are the main weapon in this game, it's worth pointing out it's tears. Rather than tears, he kind of has a charge up blood puke. You kind of go and just kind of barf forward, kind of a big blob of puke on things. And he's become the guy I go to now because the blood puke is really, really fun. You'll pick up bonus weapons that will do things like summon flies to help you, and little spiders, or that will summon special kinds of bombs. You'll get things that, like, have you heard of the legend of Krampus, the Christmas devil?
No.
Krampus is a creature of legend that I'm not that up on, but I know he's the Christmas devil, and he makes an appearance in Isaac as a boss, and his pickup is one of the greatest items in the game. It just puts sort of a little head that pukes blood in all 4 directions, and will absolutely decimate a boss.
Because let's not forget, this was originally a Nintendo game.
Was it?
Yeah, it was originally going to be a 3DS game.
Of course it was, yeah.
Nintendo kind of rather politely decided that it might not be the best for their image.
Because he looks a bit like Toad, and you wouldn't want to get that crossover wrong, would you?
I think what's the chap's name that's behind it? Is it something McMahon?
Edmund McMillan, the guy, the Meat Boy guy.
Yeah, said that Nintendo were quite nice about it, but yeah.
But yeah, no,
it's interesting on 3DS. I think that'd be would have been quite cool.
Yeah, well, having it on the having it on the PS4 and the Vita is fantastic because the cross save thing means you can take your save again. You can play a bit at home and then load your save up on your Vita and then carry on.
Because there's you and Darren Gargett in particular, and I know Darren Gargett's a huge fan of the game because he was when I met him at Game City, he was wearing a Binding of Isaac t-shirt.
Nice. But I know he's playing a lot of it. The guy from the You Died blog, one of the Gavs, has been playing quite a lot of it recently. It's really nice to see it getting this really big sort of upsurge on Twitter of people, sharing the picture. There was a wonderful moment where Darren Gargett of Kane and Rince, put up a little picture of his Isaac that he'd put together of this horrifying transformation it had gone under. It's like, imagine if they did some sort of bullshit hashtag thing, hashtag my Isaac. Clicking that hashtag was the funniest thing in the world because my Isaac hashtag is full of pictures of people's children. So you got all these wonderful pictures of all these children and then just this horrifying demon baby in the middle of it all. It was a magical moment, it really was. But the reason I keep going back to it is because I've not had a single run, be it a fantastic run where I've got some really good items, or be it a terrible run that's gone hideously wrong from start to finish and has lasted 2 minutes. It has never not been fun. And the thrill of like, what am I going to get this time? What am I going to pick up? Am I going to get this item? I'm going to pick that up. Oh, what's that? I've never had that before. Oh, here's a devil room. Shall I sacrifice a permanent heart of health for whatever that is? Go on then, let's try it. Oh no, that's useless. But it's every single thing. Like it's still throwing bosses at me I've never seen before. You're thinking, yeah, I can do this, and then like, oh, this boss that's a horrifying thing that you don't know how to fight. You're like, what? And it really catches you on the fly. Like I very recently, literally,
no pun intended.
You're very good. I very recently discovered there's a fucking boss rush room that I'd never seen before, and I went in thinking, oh, what's this? And I sort of popped the chest in the middle, and then 2 of the bosses appeared at once.
Didn't somebody mention on Twitter yesterday about co-op?
Yeah, there's a co-op mode on it. Oh god, I forget who said it now.
It was one. It was. Was it one of the guys from You Died? One of the Gavs?
It might have been. I'm just going to look this up in the background while we're talking. But yeah, no, I discovered this boss rush room, and just as soon as I put 2 of the bosses down, 2 more appear. You fight, I would say, 16 bosses in a row in that room. It is insane. It gives you more room to work with, which is, a nice little bonus. But fuck me. It was Farron on Twitter. It was our mutual friend of the show.
Oh right,
Farron,
yeah, it was.
That said about that. But yeah, second player can join in as a demon baby apparently, which I'm going to force on Laura later. She's fucking playing it. I don't care. It's co-op, and we like co-op games. She's playing it. Fuck it.
Is this what marriage is to you?
Yeah, fuck her. She's playing the game I want to play.
How dare you?
But yeah, no, it's fantastic because it keeps throwing surprises out, and there's this weird sort of mystery to it where you get an ending, and you kind of go in a box and you pick something out of the box, and then something new appears in the basement, and there's a real sense that it's building up to something. I'm in the middle of putting together a postcard at the moment of something. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like a weird catchphrase thing where I can only see a quarter of it at the moment, and it doesn't make any sense. Hopefully it doesn't turn out to be Mr. Chips errantly tugging his cock. But I like to think it's got a bit more class than that. But yeah, Isaac has remained fun from the word go. And you have to play it. It's so good.
Well, I have played it. I played it on the first day, and I quite enjoyed what I played with it, but just haven't gone back to it.
It's worth noting as well, when you beat Mum for the first time, you've not beaten it.
Okay.
You have not beaten it by a long way. The game is the embodiment of bitch please, this isn't even my final form. It's like, do you think you've beaten it? Fuck off.
That should be like a little. There should be an asterisk after Binding of Isaac, and then that can be in smaller type.
Asterisk, bitch please, this isn't even my final form. Because every time I think I've got it nobbled, it puts a new layer on top. Like the other day, I was battling through. I was trying to reach Satan, And I didn't get the room that unlocks Satan, because I've not beaten Satan yet. I'm saying it like that because it's fun. And I kind of jumped in the chest and thought, oh, I missed my chance at Satan there. And I picked up an item. It's like, everything just got harder. And I'm like, what? No! Come on now. Behave. But yeah, I feel like I've been getting better at the game as I've been playing it as well. So again, it's a game that you feel like you did well because you get a lucky, you get a lucky set of pickups as you go through. But you do get better at it as you play, and you start to learn how to sort of weave through the enemies and how to prioritize which rooms you pick first. Which items are good and which ones you should avoid like the plague. There's a couple that I will not touch now because they have ruined runs. Flat ruined runs. There's an item called it's anti-gravity tears, where you shoot your tears, they hover in front of you, and when you let go of the shoot button, that's when they fly forwards. You'd think that would be cool, but when you're surrounded by dudes that are chasing you and you're trying to sort of shoot them, while they're moving forward, it's very, very hard to line up a shot with them. And it's fucking ruined a run more than once, and I won't touch that power up anymore. The blood puke one is especially funny as well because it kind of leaves a little glowing blob that then pukes out by itself. It's a cracker, a fucking cracker of a game. Really good, and the fact that it came out with Plus as well. Like, you serious? It's a joke.
I think that was it wasn't really a surprise, was it? Because it was on the cards for a while that it was coming with Plus.
But yeah, when it was finally confirmed, it was like, you serious? That's incredible. It has been a joke so far. I want to post Ed McMillan a tenner because I feel like I've cheated him. It's that fucking good. And it's really just like, there's so much variety there. It's got just a charm you can't beat. But yeah, that's why I picked that for my number 3, The Binding of Isaac.
So now we...
Skipping our 2s, aren't we?
Now we come to
Game of the Year and Game of the Year.
Give it a nice build up.
Hold on, I'll move over here.
Go for it.
Game of the Year.
That was good. You really are the master of Foley.
No, that was my Game of the Year. This is your Game of the Year.
Okay.
Game of the Year, Ginger.
Oh! That's a touch racist, but I'll allow it tonight.
How dare you?
Game of the year.
Right.
What's your Game of the Year?
Numero uno. Numero uno.
Earning a Kudo cake.
Learning to love Kudo cake and Kudo pie and smishing them together. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
My Game of the Year came out of nowhere, and E3, I wasn't asked. Saw the video and went...
Is this another one that you mocked initially?
I kind of did, yeah. I watched the E3 reveal and was like, this is quite nice suede.
It's a strange noise.
And watched the horrible video reveal of it with one of those sort of indie versions of an old song, which is just really bad, over the top, and was still not asked. I watched initial reports tumble in and still was not fussed, and something happened that I just didn't see coming, and that was a place that I'd never been to before, somewhere that charmed me, thrilled me, surprised the fuck out of me, and as the internet continued to build Wickerman and set them on fire, fuck you the internet, the best game of 2014 for me is Assassin's Creed Unity.
Wow, that is going to be an unpopular choice. Don't even go talk.
Right. So, like I say, I wasn't that fussed about Assassin's Creed Unity, and I do love videogamer.com, and I saw Jim Trinker did 2 videos on Assassin's Creed Unity and basically said, yeah, it's really good. And I'd heard all the rumblings prior to this with, gimping the PS4 version, and that the game's 30 frames per second and it struggles to do that, and there are bugs.
So the internet saying, yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah, and I saw the Stephen Totillo on Kotaku said the game was boring, that he's a big Assassin's Creed fan, that he wasn't asked about it. And there was something within these vids that Jim Trinket did, and they were long vids. I think one of them was kind of like must have been like 20-30 minutes where the world was shown, and the way he talked about it and the things that I saw, I kind of went, oh, and I saw a world that I wanted to explore, and I saw a world that I wanted to adventure in.
Okay.
And
should we call that the Mordor effect?
Perhaps, but I mean, it's a strange thing with Assassin's Creed, because the game that I played the most, that I've played to completion in Assassin's Creed is the first one, and everybody at that point was going like, oh, don't bother with the first one, just go straight through to Assassin's Creed 2, because the first one's more of a tech demo. And I saw the first one on 360 way back when for $3.99 second hand. And I can be a bit of a sucker for a legacy, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm not turning it down at that price. I'll pick it up. And I'm not a religious man, but to go up through sort of a small mountain road on a horse and then just suddenly be like this widescreen Damascus like in front of me, it took my breath away. And Hidetaka Miyazaki has said that a well-designed world could tell its story in silence, and for all of the faults in that first Assassin's Creed, the fact that the story was bollocks, I enjoyed adventuring in that world, and I wanted to explore it. And when I got to Assassin's Creed 2, laughed at the start of it, was thinking, oh yeah, this seems like my kind of thing. They seem to have fine-tuned it and toned it up a little bit, but I didn't find the cities as engaging, and I wandered away from it. I ended up doing other stuff. I delved into a very small amount of Assassin's Creed 3, didn't play much of it, touched briefly into Black Flag, didn't play much of it.
Crime.
Not even in a conscious way. I was just playing other stuff and just disappeared away. But I ended up seeing there was an offer that came on Poster Bargain for, and I'd been waiting for Black Flag to drop to about 15 quid on New Gen to pick it up, because I fancied
good price.
I fancied delving in, but I wanted it at the right price. And on Poster Bargain, someone was selling Assassin's Creed Unity and Black Flag for 26 quid.
And this was like the week after release, wasn't it? This was like right on it. Yeah,
and folks were going like, is this a joke? And it had been posted up 3 times previously. It was a seller on eBay, an American seller, but folks had their codes delivered and everyone was saying it was legit. And I thought 26 quid for Unity alone I probably would have taken the plunge for. But with Black Flag involved as well, I'm essentially taking a risk on a game for they're 13 quid each. So I bought them, codes came through fine, and I just found myself stolen away by the game. I mean, initial moments with a young Arno sort of with his father saying, I've got to go, but and he gives him his pocket watch and he's like, but by the time the hand gets to here on the pocket watch, I'll be back home again. Don't you go exploring and don't get into trouble. And he meets this little girl from who's with a visiting dignitary, and you go running through this palace together, and she's daring you to kind of steal things, and you're playing hide and seek with one another. And the point that you return to the main part of the palace, Arno's father's been killed.
Wow.
And it was at that point that I kind of went, fuck. And as Elise maintains her status and class within Paris, Arno falls down it. But there's this Romeo and Juliet between them, like aspect between them where they'll always find one another. He'll always get into scrapes, go to whatever it takes to find her and talk to her. And however brief these moments are together, they're stolen, and there's something that they can't quite have, but it keeps returning them to one another. And I was like, okay, And at this point, you know, I wasn't in an assassin's costume. I was just enjoying exploring Paris and seeing, you know, the slums, or, you know, going to a new area and seeing someone playing a flute, or people sort of breathing fire, or being in the centre of a massive marketplace, and you know, a gunshot goes off, and seeing different pockets of people react in different ways to something that had gone on. And it felt like the city was breathing in front of me. It was reacting in front of me. I saw a tarpaulin that was laid down with dead bodies over it, and someone that was writhing, that was just basically given up to die, and had just been thrown alongside these dead bodies. And these little bits of environmental storytelling where I went, oh God. And the aspects that come up in the game, like a character called the King of Beggars, where he's talking to a homeless guy who's not brought in enough money, and says, we all know that what the problem is, that those who are crippled bring in more money than the regular, and they hold him down and they start sawing into his leg. It might be a really subtle moment with the Marquis de Sade, where you see him and he's talking to you on a couch, and there's a young girl who's clearly opiumed up out of her face, and right towards the end of this cutscene, the Marquis de Sade just puts his hand on her thigh. He's like, ugh! And it's all these little bits that just started building up. And I started at first doing loads and loads of the side missions before I'd advanced the story. I was just having fun doing those. And there was a side mission initially where I had to find this certain aspect that people were going after from both sides. Nobody knew if it was real or not, but both sides wanted it just in case. And the further I went on with it, I found out that it was a book of alchemy by Nicholas Flamel. I was like, Harry Potter guy, he's real. And I was looking in the grimoire to find out the balancing the real events, the real places and people, and colouring that to this wonderful fictional versions that I was getting. There was the lady that wandered out into the streets who would have fever dreams, who would be like, around the corner from here is a lawyer who's done terrible things. And she just seems like a larger than life character. And you look in the grimoire, and if I remember rightly, and I may be wrong on this, but if I remember correctly, she most of these visions that she had were correct, and that she was thrown into prison by the powers that be, and not long after they lost like the war or something, and whoever came to power sort of put her in the lap of luxury, up until the point where I think it was Napoleon stopped all the money and the riches that she was getting and stuff, and she told him that 2 weeks later he'd die, and he did. And there were loads of little things like that. I just kept drawing me further and further into the world. And when I finally became an assassin, the moment was huge and it was massive. There's loads of customization with the stuff that you can wear, and you find these little cockades that you can sort of get essentially shaders to colour your outfits. You can unlock outfits from previous Assassin's Creed games. There's tons and tons of weapons. The fighting. You played a bit when you came around to mine. The fighting is heavy, and it's weighty.
It felt chunkier than it felt for me, because I played a lot of them. It felt a bit chunkier than the ones I recently played, definitely.
Yeah, rather than being sort of this twirling sort of crisp red ballet that the previous ones have been. If you wanted to get over to the other side, there wasn't this magical jump hop that would get you there. You had to figure out how you were going to roll out of the way. You had to consider who was coming at you with whatever weapon, and little movements like a finishing move where he jumped on his right foot, sort of leaned in and smacked a guy in the face with his left fist, and then you twat down with the mace and like smash them in the face, or when I got the katana, oh great, cutting about the streets of Paris with a Japanese sword. And the finishing move on that was to shove the sword through a guy's neck. And that took a bit of getting used to. I don't mind telling you, but as the story evolves, there's some great detective work that's in there, and it kind of falls somewhere between Batman, James Bond, and Romeo and Juliet. And I had serious moments where I just swore at the screen, and not because the game was buggy or the game was shite or the game was boring, but because it had stolen my breath away, and I was invested in this world, and I was taken somewhere that I'd never been before. I'd managed to get these forest green shaders, and I was sort of darting around like Oliver Queen from Arrow, acting like some angel of death against anyone that dared to fuck someone over or nick anything in particular. Just give me a reason. I'm building more and more confidence as to the amount of enemies that I could fight at once, and like I say, only the other day I saw it mentioned on the shittiest games of the year list by one journalist who complained about microtransactions being included, which I've never had use for because I've been playing the game. I mean, there's Jim Trinker, there's me, there's Joe Screbbles, there's Kate Gray, both Gavs from You Died, who are just waving the flag wildly about this game. It's fucking great. It's the first Assassin's Creed that's consumed me for the longest time. And I'm smitten with it. I'm absolutely smitten with it, and that's the reason that it's my number one. Excellent.
It's one that I'm yet to get, and I know I will get it eventually. I just think for me personally, I have played all of them, like fucking all of them. Like I've 100%ed a few of them, and I feel like I need a bit of a break from it. Because while it looks nice, I think I've done it.
You've got the other yo-yo from me though. There's with the fact that I haven't really connected with them for a long time.
Yeah, whereas they've been even through the Assassin's Creed 3 era, when a lot of people started to go off it. I was still in on that, and I'm the nutter that likes the real world stuff. I'm the guy who likes Future Desmond.
I mean, there is Abstergo in here, and there is kind of some other stuff that weaves its way through it. But it's been cool thus far, and not like, oh.
But the big worry for me is that if I do get Unity, I'm going to have to get Rogue as well, and play them both. And after hearing Chet Roivas, the condition he was in after playing both 2 in a row, I'm not sure I've got that in me.
I get the impression that Ubisoft don't want to talk about Rogue on PC. Although I think they were backed into a corner and said it might be like March next year. I think the point where Rogue comes out on PC is the point where it comes out on Xbox One and PS4.
Yeah, that's where I'll get Rogue. Because Rogue looks like the one that's being made for me. It looks like Unity seems to be for the guys who liked Assassin's Creed 2. I know you didn't get on with it, but that's what it looks like from the outside. And Rogue's for the guys who like the pirate ship.
As far as I'm aware, they kind of converge, because it ties into... Joe Screbbles was saying it ties in quite heavily to Unity.
Same way Liberation in 3 worked.
At a certain point, but it uses a lot of the sort of
Black Flag?
locales as Black Flag. So it seems like a nice little sort of smoosh point between the two. So it is something that I'd like to play, but I have a lot of Assassin's Creed Unity still to play.
Yeah.
Not just because, I mean, I could probably swanning on through the story missions, but I'm just enjoying doing these little side missions and cutting about in Paris, and I'm enjoying existing in that world, and I can't ask more of a game.
But it ain't got a boat, is it?
No.
Give me back my phone. The only way it could be cooler is if it was a truck. If you could assassinate people in a truck.
I think like, if you could assassinate a truck.
No, if you could be a truck. Maybe with like secret knives, you could jab on people. Any game can be improved if you're a truck.
Don't try and derail this like that. I remember when you were around here and you were determined to try and pet a cat and then hit it, and because the game said no, and then no. Actually, I stopped you from hitting a cat.
I did crouch and hide behind a dog, though.
I said my Arno doesn't do that.
Aww.
My house, my rules.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to shoot a cat. Boo. But yeah, that's so you're number one, Assassin's Creed Unity. Who knew? come out out of the. If you'd have said that a couple of months ago, I think you'd have laughed at that suggestion yourself, wouldn't you?
How much have I been bouncing about this on Twitter though?
You ain't stopped.
About how good it is.
You ain't stopped, lad.
In fact, you know, there has been a few of us, but it just seems like it's a lot of the people who are pointing the finger and throwing knives at Assassin's Creed Unity don't have an informed opinion. They're just jumping on what someone else has said, and of course, I'm just someone else that's saying something else. But the price is I mean, I've seen it on PS4 and stuff for like £23 now. So the price has bombed.
I mean, the negative reaction it's had means there will be a lot of trading in copies, which means the value of buying a second-hand one should be pretty good.
I think the second-hand price is still around the same price as the original, but at that price you're gonna get a really good game, and you know, I can't grumble at playing £26 for that and Black Flag. I would have paid £26 for it on its own. The fact that it's simmering down around 23. I've even seen the version with the statue and the art book for 35.
Ooh, that's not bad.
Yeah, I think Amazon had that.
I like a statue.
Yeah, and strangely enough, I like the story of Arno Elise so much. I'm quite tempted with the individual statues of the two of them, because
you can buy them separately, and they know they link together, don't they?
Yeah, there's the one that comes with the special edition is just Arno with a flag, and the version individually is Arno with a sword, I think, and then Elise with kind of a gun. But yeah,
they either flop together looking at each other or back to back, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I quite fancy that, and that says a lot to me how much I enjoy not only the game, but I enjoy the characters, and it's rare to see sort of a huge romance being the centre of a game. Characters that I adore within that aspect, but also, you know, the danger and the Batman aspect, and the detective work, and the world, and the history lesson, and I just fell into it. Loved the city. I'm really enjoying the game and the combat, and I don't know. It just felt natural to be my number one.
Nice. Okay. Right. Your number one, Assassin's Creed Unity.
I don't know where the box is.
Bonks. Okay.
1 minute.
Go for it. Okay. Get the box. In your box.
Paddy's number one, 2014.
Ha. Right. My number one. My number one, 2014.
2014.
Okay. My number one from 2014 is another PlayStation Plus game.
Interesting.
Further cementing itself as the best thing you should spend £40 on. My number one is a game that I'd heard about before. I'd seen a lot of people bollocking around on, but it had never been on a platform that I or anyone I knew had. And then a new remixed edition was announced and came out on Plus to great appeal. I actually used some of the money I got from my recent wedding to buy another 2 controllers, so I was fully locked up with 4 controllers.
Oh my god!
For local multiplayer. In a year of some fantastic local multiplayer games in the form of Nidhogg, in the form of Crawl on the PC. This particular one stood head and shoulders above them. My number one game of the year, Towerfall Ascension.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Thanks. Shall I tell you why?
Do it.
Okay. So, Towerfall Ascension is a game where you shoot the guy with an arrow.
Is this kind of your default to?
Yep.
You do the thing with the thing.
Jump on the guy. That's Mario. No, Towerfall Ascension is a 4-player. You'd call it a sort of party brawler, I guess. It's an archery game where the aim of the game is to shoot the other 3 archers with your arrows. It's 2D, it's side-on, it's very, very sort of retro, Mega Drive looking graphics. You have a set of arrows on your character. You have those arrows listed above your head so you can see how many you've got at any given point. 1 arrow will kill you, so you need to be paying the fuck attention. And generally you'll play first to 10, first to 20, winner, whoever survives the round gets a point. There's a million variations on it, and you can go in and tweak basically every single setting in the game for nothing. The reason that it is my number one isn't because it's got all these modes and functions. Oh, no. The reason it's my number one because I've not had any other game this year produce so many classic moments, just one after the other. When we've played it with our friends, they've come round. Like, I initially played it with my little sister. She came round and I said, "Oh, I've just got this downloaded. Should we give it a go?" And she went, "Oh yeah, go on then." So we banged it on and jumped in. Within about 3 minutes, we were screaming at each other. Literally 3 minutes. Go, "Yo, you bitch! And, oh, you bastard! And, you duck! And oh, you jumped on my head!"
Well,
and what you?
I can interject here within being at Game City this year.
You were, yes, you were.
There was a pub event at the Brewdog where we walked in and there was Mario Kart going on in the corner. There was Street Fighter. There was Nidhogg on a massive screen with a couch. Other sort of various multiplayer stuff was going on an Xbox 360. People were doing a 3DS Smash Brothers tournament on one of the tables, and in the corner was Towerfall. And you got 4 people there, and those folks were really good people, and were passing the joypad back for other people to try it, telling them what to do, and I played it and absolutely loved it. I like the mechanic where you could essentially lose, like being like the next to last person to die and not being the final person on the screen, but you might still get more skulls because you've killed those other people.
Yeah, it rewards aggressive play, which is awesome.
Well, I think it rewards tactical play as well, and there were points where just all the randoms were sort of fired on. And it was doing crazy shit. I passed it back to Darren Gargett, who took to it straight away, and was kind of surprised at how well he was doing. It was a perfect game for that atmosphere. It was one of those things at first where you're like, why am I doing well? Oh, I just did that. Oh, I'm going to go and try and do this. I'm doing this to you now. And there's that kind of really quick arc within the first 5 minutes where
it's that jump from what's going on? Oh wait, that was cool. Oh, can I do this? Ooh.
But somebody can fuck you up by accident as well.
Oh God,
you can fuck somebody else up by accident.
You can fuck yourself up by accident.
And that's part of the fun, that whatever the swagger that you can bring to it, someone that's never played the game before can do you over and gain a little bit of confidence. But again, there's so many random factors that aren't they're not the equivalent of like a blue shell or a bullet in Mario Kart. You've got nothing. You've got no one else to blame than yourself or other people. And the great thing about co-op is and it's something that couch co-op rather, and that I really miss is kind of those looks and giggles and digs in the ribs and.
It's that, and that's why it's the first thing that goes on whenever we have a game night. I mean, over Christmas we had a bunch of people around various different times, and Towerfall was always the thing that went on by default. Always. It's gotten to a point in my little circle of friends where there's me, my wife Laura, and our friends Mark and Mac, and we've all got our own colour of dude that we pick, and that's the dude we pick. And if we ever have to pass the controller off, we have to go back to the menu, pick the right colour, and go back in. Like it's that important now. Like when I look at the screen, I don't see the purple one. I see Laura. I don't see the white one. I see Mac.
Can I add to this as well? That obviously, it's done really well on PlayStation 4. But how much of an anomaly must this have been on the Ouya?
Right, it's like the only thing that was on the Ouya.
Especially when if there are lots of places like CBG and Polygon were doing it where at lunchtime, like Towerfall tournaments were going on, and folks couldn't quite get their head around the fact that there's this quite uncomfortable games console that was doing sort of lots of things really, really badly, but had this game that was just
thing that was
bollockingly addictive on a joypad that wasn't really that responsive.
Yeah, Yeah. And the fact that I think you could plug other controllers into the Ouya helped that along no end.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's the only reason to buy an Ouya, and now you don't need to buy one because it's right fucking there. Like the little bits that you've got extra because it's on the PS4, just make it that little bit better. Like the fact that the controllers, when you turn them on, when you pick what colour guy you want to be, your controller light goes that colour.
Oh, cool.
So mine goes orange, and Laura's goes purple, and like our friend Mark's goes pink. Tiny little bits like that, and like the fact that you can pick it up in about 2 minutes. There's like 2 buttons. There's jump, there's shoot, and then once you've got the hang of that, you can then dodge. And once you've worked out the dodge mechanic, that's when you get a match. Like the 4-player, free for all bit at the start is fun, but when there's 2 of you left, then you got a match. That's when I think the game becomes like proper. When there's just 2 of you just darting about trying to get a shot off on the other one without getting taken advantage of. Our friend Mac, for example, is really, really getting good at dodging. And when you dodge into an arrow, you catch it, and it goes in your kind of quiver, as it were. So if you can dodge well, you can catch any arrow, even the bomb ones, the tangle arrows that make a tangly trap everywhere, the laser ones. If you're good at it, you can catch any arrow. You've got to be paying attention. You've got to be looking for it. But he's gotten unholy good at that.
Is it witchcraft?
It is a bit witchcraft, yeah. So I've gotten. I did find a solution to it, which was avoid him. Pick up every arrow you can find.
You're going to say, like, don't invite him round.
Yeah, just tell him to fuck off away.
Close the curtains.
And no, this has worked a couple of times, which is just collect every arrow I can, get in front of him, fire like a madman, because he can't catch them all. I think the record was 7 arrows shot at his face at once. Just walloping on the square button, going, fucking have that, you twat!
There must have been a point, though, where he avoided those arrows. You were now out of arrows, and you were like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's happened a few times as well. Any dumb thing you can think of has probably happened at one point. Like we've all blown ourselves up with a bomb arrow by shooting it at our feet by accident. The same with the tangle arrows that create a tangly trap. We've all done that. We've shot at our feet and gone, oh, piss bollocks, and killed yourself. We've all ran into a laser arrow that we've all fired, which you shoot them and they ping around the world. And again, if you're not paying attention, you will walk straight into your own laser arrow. Like, half the times I've died by that, it's been my own fucking arrow.
Because there's an update coming to it pretty soon, isn't there?
There is. Before we get onto that, I have managed to shoot myself in the arse, which takes some fucking doing. There's a couple of levels that have like an infinite drop. Like, the levels will have like sides you can jump off and you appear on the other side, like Pac-Man. And arrows behave that way too. So if you shoot an arrow off the left, it turns up on the right, which can be used to great effect if someone's not watching the screen. You can go, ha 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 ha!
Now, would you like to see the game remain couch co-op, or would you like the option to do online stuff?
I would like the option, but the couch co-op is definitely where the king is. That's where the money is.
I know you wanted to give it a go for
SharePlay.
The new PlayStation,
and I think we still should
SharePlay stuff. I don't believe it works particularly well, does it?
I've heard it's pretty good. I thought Chet and John said it worked really well, like witchcraft.
Oh yeah, I think it might have been down to the connection, wasn't it?
As long as the connection holds out, we're definitely fucking doing it, because, like I say, I have not had another game have so many just moments, and the fact that whenever you, like, every single round that ends, like, each match will have about between 10 to 20 rounds of the game on a different set of geometry each time. Whenever you get the kill, it then replays the last couple of seconds as well.
Oh yeah.
So you can watch that last moment, and like you see, so the moments when you go, what? And you play it back and you go, oh, that was my arrow. Right, I see what I did. I shot a drill arrow and it went through the wall and came back at me from the other direction. Right, I see what I've done there. Yeah, in terms of just pure moments of just joy, there's nothing better. There's nothing better than a good match of Towerfall. There really isn't. So and the new expansion that's coming is giving us some more areas to bollock about in, some new archers, I believe, some new kinds of arrows to use. I'm all for it. If anything can supplant the instant fun recipe, I will be intrigued to see. I'll tell you what the instant fun recipe is. The fun recipe is you put on random arrows. So you have to look above your head to work out what kind of arrow you've got. So if you just fire blindly at the start, you could blow yourself up without paying attention. So random arrows keeps it nice and fresh, and exploding corpses. So if you shoot someone really close and be like, "Ha ha! In your face!" If you don't move out of the way, you're dead. It's a wonderful fuck you, and everybody forgets about it. You'll shoot someone, you'll jump near their corpse and go, "Ha! Oh!" and then explode. Much to the enjoyment of every other person in the room. And it's never not funny to get hit by it as well. Like, even when you have a bad round, it's still fun to watch. And just watching these dizzying, you know, four archers trying to dip round each other and grab the advantage, and just seeing the world just going nuts in front of you. It's better party game than Smash Brothers.
Ooh,
I think it is a better pick up and play party game than Smash Brothers is.
I can see that. It's
because
probably a little more accessible.
Yeah, within 2 minutes, everybody that I've seen has tried to play it has been good at it and can play it effectively against people that are good.
So yeah, sort of 2014, we were led to believe that it was going to be a shit year for games, and everything that was good and holy about this earth,
everything is awful.
Was coming in 2015, and that's just not been the case.
No.
So,
again, I think we've had, apart from Destas and Dark Souls, again, 2 completely different top 7 lists.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, and you know, I'm sure. I mean, there'll be folks that'll be saying, "Well, why isn't this on there?" And you know, I don't agree with you in this. That's fine.
It's fine.
I mean,
it's worth noting these are the games that we've played, like things that we haven't played on these lists. So there's a lot,
you know, and
we haven't played.
If you've got favourites from the year, just drop them those and to twinhumanitiespodcast@gmail.com, and we'll have a look into them and we'll read them the next time we do I Know the Humanities. Which might even be the games that we're looking forward to the most for this year.
That'll be our
2015.
second annual games of the next year.
Yeah, so that'll be cool. And you know, on a personal aspect, thanks for bearing with us. And if there's been any screeches in the show, thanks for bearing with us. But you know, cheers for listening and for the feedback and for talking about us to other people and spreading the love, and it's double appreciated. We love doing this, but it means a lot when you folks talk to us and rave about us and just sort of hang in there for us. So thank you to everybody that takes time out to listen. I promise you, it's very, very much appreciated. And
and it makes all of the technical issues that I have every week with it worth it. It really does.
If you're noticing a kind of an upsurging quality in the game of the year,
not in the conversation, let me just say, this is an upsurging quality of the audio sound. It's still the same old bullshit coming out of our mouths.
We've invested, we've chucked a bit of money into to get this hopefully sounding a little bit better on your ears. So we've got a few ambitions for all the podcasts for next year. So thank you again for joining us. And hope you enjoyed the shows.
Yeah, and I hope you've... I think we had the right idea splitting this in 2, because at 4 hours, I think I might have fallen asleep.
Yeah, and I've got to go to sleep soon.
Yeah, as have I.
At 5 a.m.
Man, real life suck, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you again, everyone, for listening. Send us your Game of the Years if they're different from ours. Give us some reasons. We'd love to hear them.
I've already said that
I know.
stuff.
I'm just wrapping up quickly.
Shush.
Like it, share it, send it by email.
You know where we are. You know what we do. Just cheers and mwah.
And enjoy.
Give them a kiss.
Enjoy 2015.
Shut up. Kiss them.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Good ending, that.